All right. We should be live. Everybody should be able to hear us. Hi, everyone. Oh, good. I figured it out. Somebody said, yes, we did. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the stream. This is JeenBean, who is going to be my guest today. Gene,
Hello, thank you for having me.
very excited to have you. JeenBean is a scriptwriter, a spicy scriptwriter, and has a lot of familiarity with the spicy audio field. And so I thought they would be a perfect person to reach out to and talk more about the writing side of the world with familiarity around projects like Quinn, and also just kind of having a really good breadth and understanding of this of this world is really helpful. So is there anything at the top that you want to tell people about yourself? I'd love for you to introduce yourself. I'll let you take over.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. My name's Jean. I use she, her pronouns. You might see me as Jean Bean on, oh God, what are all the things? Instagram, TikTok, all those places. I'm a contributing guest voice on the Smut Cap, if you're familiar with them, where I do this thing called Smut Chat with Jean Bean. And then I also founded this little series by accident called JeenTalk, where I talk about like why audio erotica works for me, but it's also sort of in the hopes that other people will be able to relate to what I'm talking about. And yes, Jonathan is a nickname that I have earned somehow. I don't know how that happened, but it's been really fun.
I love that. Well, I'm very excited to talk to you today. We're going to keep this pretty laid back. If anyone wants to ask questions of Jean or myself, please just throw them in the chat. We will do our best to catch them. I have a couple of moderators who will watch and will help us kind of catch some of the questions as much as we can. But we're going to be talking about a varied amount of topics today. So no need to worry about staying on topic. If you have something you want to throw in the chat, I will write it down. I'm going to be copying questions and putting them off to the side. And yeah, let's jump in. So first and foremost, I want to hear about how you got into. So I know QuinnTalk existed, right? I think that was kind of
Mhm.
the predecessor of most of your work in this space, right? So I want to hear about
Yeah.
how that led into spicy script writing.
Okay, honestly, everything I've done in this space has been a total accident. Like this is
Hey, me too.
I got lucky with timing. I got lucky with like
Mm-hmm.
the algorithm helping me out, whatever it was. So like about a year ago, I downloaded the Quinn app, genuinely not knowing what it was. Did not know what it was. I
How
just
did you wait? Time out. How do you find an app and
I
because you couldn't pay me money to download a random app off of the App Store?
okay, so you and I are different, and that's fine.
That's fair. All right. Mm-hmm.
I have this like one track mind thing where like if I'm trying to get to a goal, I will ignore all of the signs around that goal. So like when I
Oh,
downloaded this um app, it was in pursuit of an Andrew Scott audio. And
I love
because I
that for
thought it was
you.
a story, so I just
Sure.
yeah, I didn't read anything about the app. I like was signing up and they were, there was this moment that was like, hey, like pick a username, pick something spicy. And I remember at the time being like, that's weird, and just blew past it, like didn't even um listened to the audio, which was like PG, like it was very
Yeah.
like neutral.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, like what else is on this app? Because if I'm gonna pay for an app, I want to like know what's on here.
There better be good
So
shit
then
on
I
here.
started listening to like, yeah, so like what other romance stories are on here? Oh my God, I did not know what I was downloading. And when I got to the very first sex scene of the very first real audio I listened to, I think I was doing dishes. I just like froze. Um, so after I figured out what the hell I downloaded, I kept listening and I was exploring different creators. And of course, I was like, well, this is really interesting. I've never heard anything like this before. Um, so I kept my subscription, if in case anyone was wondering about that. Um, and I didn't have any friends in my real life who knew about this app, who had this app, and even when I was talking to other friends of mine being like, "Have you heard of this app?" Nobody had known about it, and I really, like, needed to, like, process
Yeah. You
what
need
was
a
I was like, "What's
community to be
happening in my
like,
ear?"
who
Yes,
is
I,
this
like,
dude?
needed someone to be yes, like, literally was like, "Somebody validate that it's okay to be, like, unhinged right now." Um So I just went to TikTok where I had like 100 followers because
Hmm.
I was a lurker on TikTok for years.
Right.
Um, and I made a video truly intending for it to just go into the internet void where like the 50 people that would see it and then it would just like die in the atmosphere. Um, and what ended up happening was people found my video from like the audio erotica community and were commenting on it and were talking to me about it. So then all of a sudden, I started making more videos, and the same names, like the same people were commenting on things. And I have this thing where, like, if something takes a hold of me, like, I need to understand it. I have this deep need to understand things and humans and people. And so I had this, I was like, why is this format working so well for me? Like, why does this app have such a hold on me? Because it was driving me nuts that it just did. And I was like, I have to understand it. So I started thinking about it and decided to do this thing called Quinn Talk, which is what the original version of JeenTalk.
Right.
And they were meant to be 3 4 minute short form videos on just like my thinking about the audio erotica space and about erotica in general and female sexuality and all that. And people responded to it, so I kept going. And then at a certain point, I realized that I didn't want it to be limited to just Quinn. I wanted to talk about like audio erotica in general, so I rebranded to Gene Talk, and that's kind of where I'm at today. So I was editing a Gene Talk video right before I got on with you.
The content grind never ends. I understand.
Yeah, truly.
Well, that actually splinters perfectly into the second question I wanted to ask is, what is what is it about smut and erotica that really, I mean, you've thought about this a lot. You just said, you've been exploring this. You've had time to think about it. And I know it's a difficult question to answer because I feel like it's a fluid thing for most people. It moves
Mhm.
and kind of flows around who we are as people. But I'd love to hear, like, what is it about smut that has drawn you in and captured you so strongly? Why is it so important to you? And what do you love about it?
Yeah, I mean, a part of the answer for me is in the question that you asked, is just how fluid it can be, is like I can go out and seek whatever I'm in the mood for. I'm a deeply unromantic person. I know that that's some people are very surprised to hear that, but I'm actually like if you believe in like attachment theory, I'm avoidantly attached. Like,
Yeah.
do not compliment me; it's not going to go over well. If you compliment me and then name call me afterwards, totally fine. But if it's like a genuine heartfelt compliment, not gonna it's like not gonna happen.
I get it. I
Um,
get it.
and so like really romantic audios, generally not in the mood for them. But
Yeah.
sometimes, like every now and then, I might go like pick one out and just be like, oh, that was really nice. I think what I love about audio erotica is like because we're not limited by the visual component of traditional erotica, um, we have the ability to literally go on journeys. We can have sex in space if we want to, which
Yeah.
is like an insane thing to say.
Yeah.
But somebody can write that, and that audio probably already exists. There's probably several audios that happen in space.
Yeah.
Or, like, things that we get to experiment with and have fun with that we would never really wanna do in real life. Like, in real life, not a size queen. Not like, give me an average, it's good. Um, but in erotica, like, can I, like, fantasize about, like, a
Yeah.
very well endowed person?
Are
Maybe,
you
yeah,
nodding
right?
inside
Like,
of
in
me?
real
Great.
life,
Awesome. Let's get, yeah,
yeah.
I get it. No, I
So
completely
I
get
think,
it.
like, the ability to just be like, today I'm in this mood, and today I'm in this mood, and I can pretty much go out there and find what I want to listen to, and it's probably there is kind of amazing because that's not necessarily true for all other forms of erotica. So that's the quick answer. I think I could go
Yeah.
on for hours, but I'm not
No,
going to
I
do
think that's fair. And I think that's true of, like, when you look at, pornography and it's kind of more, you know, physical, visual
that.
IRL space. It's very much, if you're going to do something really quirky and crazy, it's typically with some sort of a large toy or something like that. Like, they don't do a lot of the Ninja Turtles 90s dress up porn anymore because it was weird and
Right.
gross and nobody liked it. And it was really strange. We went through that era where we had that, like, really creepy, people were putting, paper mache on shit and it was getting weird. But then we have, the drawing, a lot of the writing and a lot of the drawing and a lot of the audio elements can really, lead to a more immersive experience. And I think for people, it's all a little different, right? Some people visually take in that that piece through the drawing element. You know, some people take in the really like the space around them, the audio space taking up feels more real to them and works better. And who doesn't like hearing people moan in their ear? I mean, that's just a bonus. Let's be honest.
That's just honestly, no, it does not matter what the gender is. I like it. It's fun. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah. I also get the like the whole vanilla stuff, and maybe it's because I've been doing it for 2 years now. But I'm just like, I can't. If you're just moaning and we're just like in a cabin and there's a fireplace in the background, I'd rather just hand me the gun. I'll be oh, wait, I can't say this. I'll be done right now. We can end this right now. We did get,
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting, like, I mean, for as a femme listener,
right.
like, I think pretty historically, men are quiet in bed, like in real life,
Oh
like
yeah.
they're quite
I mean,
reserved,
we
and
should
not
talk
that
about
that's
this
obviously.
in a minute separately, but yes.
Yeah. It's yeah. So it's like some of it is just like being able to hear um male pleasure. Like, so it could be just
Right.
sometimes it's as simple as that. And of course, there's also like autoerotic. I think tends to be geared towards a female listener or a femme listener. Um, Whereas like traditional, like visually driven erotica tends to be geared towards the male gaze. And
Yeah.
that's like not great. I don't really like being treated like an object. So it's like not my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there's the great thing about the audio piece is that objectification element can live within it, but almost never is it fully the entire purpose. Which is how you can tell the target audience is not men.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to jump on. I want to jump on the male pleasure thing for just a minute because I think it's a good tangent, and then I
Yeah.
also want to talk about a couple of questions people have had. But I saw something. This is a weird tangent, but I think it fits into this. I saw a video of Bob's Burgers. Do you know that show?
Oh, I wish I could show you the art
Please.
that I actually have.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, good. All right. So H. John Benjamin is the voice actor for Bob and Bob's Burgers. And I saw a video that was like a compilation of Bob being happy, of him like experiencing pleasure. And the comments were all from women, almost entirely. And all of them were saying like, it gives me such joy to hear this man happy. And that is something that I think society, like the patriarchy fucks us all, right? Like the patriarchy is not just bad for women, it is bad for men too. It consistently fucks all of us. And one of the things that it really has robbed the world of is male pleasure and male excitement, male joy, like being able to just have a good time and be excited about something without feeling like a dork or like a
Yep.
cringe, or even just experience like sexual pleasure with a partner in a quiet, alone space where nobody else can hear it, is something where you'll hear a guy just like finish and be like, okay, I'm done. And you're like, well, but we're in the woods. The nearest human is 8 miles away. Fucking scream
Yeah, you can
or
be
something.
loud. Yeah.
I just gave you the sloppiest top I've given in whatever it might be that is like the thing that you would expect to hear noise over. But the truth is, it's all about vulnerability, and I think that's something that
Yeah, I was
people
just gonna say.
men don't experience enough. And I think erotica is a space in which, so right before we started, Gene and I were talking about the some of the creators in this space who are male who like never turn it off. Like they don't ever turn off the persona, and it's always a little weird when they like don't stop. And I think the people who genuinely are vulnerable in this space, and the people who are able to use their true voice, and the male creators who get out there and say like, this is what pleasure sounds like to me, and this is the types of pleasure I want to explore as a creator, and I want other people to hear me exploring, is such a unique experience that people don't get to hear often. And I really think that's what pushes a lot of guys over the edge. There are a lot of creators at Quinn who are really good at this, at just saying like, this is genuinely what pleasure sounds like to me. Excuse me.
Yeah. Don't choke. I mean, unless you're gonna.
I was about to say I choked on a monster, but I'm drinking a monster, so I want to be clear on that.
You got there before me. No, I mean, vulnerability was exactly what I was going to say. I think there's like this idea that happiness for men is like a weakness, right?
Yeah.
And it's such an interesting, like, and it's always tied to weakness. This idea that like men can't be weak. And I genuinely think that part of why men aren't socialized to verbalize their sexual pleasure, um, is one, I think the media contributes to it, like
Right.
from mainstream media, but also to like fully porn sometimes, like like still very quiet comparatively. Um, but I think also like I sense that some of it has to do with feeling like it gives up too much power. And I think
Yeah.
sex is always sex, sexuality, pleasure, all that stuff is always tied up in power. Power is
Oh
always
yeah.
going to be kind of a central topic. It's actually the very very first Quinn talk I ever did was about sex and power,
Yeah.
and it's a consistent theme because I think there's this idea that like men are supposed to have more power than women. Men are, you know, by showing a woman that she is pleasing him or like is able to make him feel this way as a vulnerable weak point, and so, like, you
Yeah.
can't show that because it feels like a release of power, a relinquishing of power that they're supposed to have, and so what I think what it yields is, like, a very frustrated experience for, like, women who want to hear it, who want to hear, like, their it's so wild because 'cause I'm like, "Well, okay, men, like, you like it when we moan, right?" And they're always like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, why wouldn't it be the other way?" Like,
Yeah. And
um,
even being like
and
the giving up. Sorry, keep going. I don't want to interrupt you.
no, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say the giving up of power. This is, I think, goes back to the patriarchy too. Of like anything that is masculine is seen as like being on top, and anything that's feminine is always lowered. And so when you look at like trans women are often like placed below on this like social hierarchy below trans men because it's seen as like it's same thing with like women who are into women. A lot of like masc lesbian women are often considered more like, you know, they get promotions more often. Like statistically, they're just more likely than their
Yep.
femme counterparts to get, you know, promotions and be, you know, considered to be more of like the, you know, masculine partner in a family, and given like they'll be spoken to differently by, you know, people in certain trade jobs and all kinds of things like that. So there's this like element of like when something is masculine, it's meant to be up, and when something is feminine, it's meant to be lower. And
Mhm.
I really think that's where a lot of this starts. But I think it's also that vulnerability in the most private of spaces. Men don't have spaces where they feel like they can be vulnerable because their friends don't do it, their families don't do it, their partners don't do it. They don't do it with any of those people. And so this is what causes these men to be really shitty people because they need
Mhm.
that vulnerability. Honestly, if like 50% of men would just start bottoming, we would like fix the whole fucking world like in a heartbeat. This is
So much would be solved. Yeah, and I would I mean, it would even just be like I mean, I'm the jokes are always like, you know, like women will go get together and they'll come back with like all the goss and all
yeah.
the updates and men will go spend 4 hours together and it's like, I don't know, we talk about sports the whole time and it's
Yeah,
like,
didn't his mom die last week? I don't know.
yeah, yeah, exactly, right? And it's just like the role in society that women are the emotional the bearers of emotion, the bearers
Right.
of like getting people through emotions, and that's why so many men are only vulnerable with their female partners,
Right.
like not even with their best friends, and like even in the darkest moments there's this like facade. And yeah, the male loneliness epidemic is documented, it's
Right.
studied, it's research, it's very very real, and it's while I was making a joke about this to a friend the other day. I was like, if men literally treated each other 7% more of what women do for each other, they'd be so much happier.
Well, and it would
Like we don't
take
even have to
so
do
much
10%.
so much of the emotional labor would be taken off of women too, because there's just this like
Mhm.
this
Oh my
expectation
god.
that you have one partner who shoulders the entirety of your burden. And when she gets home from work and you get home from work, it is her job to take care of you emotionally, like she's your
Yeah.
mother. And
Right.
there's this
Which
very
no.
which no, yeah, obviously. But there really is this like dynamic of men being incapable, and a lot of men even in, you know, their own homes and relationships still don't have that type of dynamic, and so they're just like
Mhm.
letting that energy bubble inside of them and burn them up, and they become shitty people. um and I really think that I have this like unifying theory of the world that if we just get Speaker of the House Mike Johnson to prove that, to admit that he's a bottom, like it would save so much trouble, really.
Oh my
Honestly,
god.
he's on Grinder. He's getting fucked raw on the back end, and he just won't admit
Oh,
it. And if he would, we'd all be better off. Mike Johnson.
him, Lindsey Graham, all of those
Oh,
guys,
Lindsey Graham's been
all of
taking it
them.
for years.
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham.
100%.
We love you, Lindsey Graham. Go get it, Queen. We love you.
It's
I
like,
know how bad you
we'll
want to. That
accept
man's
you.
wanted to
You
wear
just
a
have to accept
dress.
yourself.
Oh my God. Fucking all these men. If they would just. Anyway, it's fine. Moving on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think we are aligned. Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to say on that topic? If not, I want to ask some of the questions people have asked us.
I know we can jump into the cut because I feel like I'll probably bounce around anyway. So
I love hopping around. It's great. Okay, so a couple of questions we had. One, I want to start with the one about script writing. What is one piece of advice you'd give to newer fellow NSFW script writers?
Oh man, that is one piece. I'm not going to do one. I'm definitely
As
going to do
many
like
as you
4.
want. You mentioned
Yeah.
getting lucky. I do think that's a big element of it, right? The Quinn of it all. Like it's like playing the lottery. You just kind of get lucky sometimes.
Yes. This
Not that
is
you
the
didn't
thing,
work for it, to be really clear.
no. And I don't feel that way. I actually wholeheartedly agree with you. And I actually try and go out of my way to say this whenever I have an opportunity to, because I think the comparison game is nasty, right? We do this thing where it's like, well, Gene's doing so well, or so and so is doing so well, and I'm not, and it's really hard not to do that. I understand, which is why I try and go out of my way to say, like, yeah, my scripts are good, not all of them, honestly. There's a few that are like meh, like to be
Oh, I
honest.
mean, you should hear some of
Um,
my original audios. They were
but yeah, we all start somewhere, right? And we get better with each, audio or script or whatever it is. But
right.
a lot of my thing was luck. I think a couple things worked in my favor. One was like the timing of it. I feel like if I started script writing like 3 or 4 months after I did, I wouldn't be seeing the success that I'm seeing right now. I
Yeah.
just sort of timed it in a way that um like right before the market was flooded with a lot of new script writers. So
Yeah.
like that I didn't do that on purpose. It just happened that way. So
Yeah,
like that's
you
luck,
couldn't have
right? That's
predicted that.
not me.
There's
I didn't
no
fucking do
way.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't earn that, right? I just
I mean, I
started writing
don't
scripts.
disqualify yourself here. We also won't allow
No, no,
that.
no.
Like, don't say you didn't earn
No,
it.
no, no,
That's
I'm
not fair.
not. No, no, I don't think that my scripts would have been picked up if they didn't have something to offer.
Yeah.
But like one of the first few scripts I put out there was picked up by a pretty popular Quinn voice actor, which then sort of legitimized my name as a scriptwriter. I think the other thing that worked in my favor is that because I'm already a publicly known content creator in the audio erotica space,
Right.
one thing that voice actors were able to do was vet me without even having to talk to
Yeah.
me. So like what that means is like there's a lot of people who script write either under pseudonym or a fake profile, or like their avatars are art or beautiful thing or just like a logo, and I that is
Yeah.
fully 100% fine. But I think what it means is sometimes it takes a voice actor a little bit more time to like vet, because unfortunately there are some folks out there who are
Hmm.
writing scripts in an effort to get closer to VAs, and
Yeah.
not because they actually just want to write in this particular art form. Um, and a VA who doesn't know who you are is going to have a hard time telling the difference between someone who's genuinely trying to make it as a writer versus somebody who's just trying to like have an email exchange with them, right?
Right.
And the bigger voice actors deal with this in a way that like smaller ones might not have to deal with yet.
Yeah.
So that's just like context. What I'll also say as far as like actual advice, because the actual question you had was, "What's your advice?" Don't talk to me about your life story, Gene.
No, I mean, I think that's
Um,
valuable.
I do think like in the script itself, do as much as you can. Like write in where you think suggested SFX, like the sound effects should go,
I love it when
and
people
write
do that.
in like retreating footsteps, door opening, door close, like even
Yeah.
if it feels really nitpicky, um, write in spaces that indicate where the listener is responding. I use like literally bracket dot dot dot. That's it. That's
Yeah.
what I put. I just like, here's the line, she's responding. Here's the line, she's responding. Um, I also try to provide some tonal guidance, especially if the tone is really important. So, like, if I want a line to be really jokey, then I'll put in like parentheses, like playfully.
Yeah.
Um, or if I want it to go from like ha 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 to like, ooh, now we're sexy, like sometimes there does need to be like a parentheses that's like sensually or like kind of whispery.
Yeah.
I try to not do that too much because I don't want, right, my philosophy is once a voice actor has bought a script from me, it's up to their interpretation of the script.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I only do that when I think it's really important to the story or to like the vibe of the audio. say about the actual script itself. This is the hardest part, and you will get used to it over time. I promise you will get used to it over time. You have to write the sexy things. Like, you have to write the really filthy lines, like, nobody wants to improv that. Nobody wants to improv that. Unless you're Nevermore, who improvs everything because he can.
I
Very few
I
people are
like to
Nevermore.
improv it too.
So, yeah. So, like, you have to kind of get used to writing, like, the dirty lines,
Yeah,
and you have to kind of get past the awkwardness of it, and here's the thing, you get into a flow state and, like, you'll get there.
yeah,
But I've seen scripts, like, I've beta read for quite a few folks, and, like, I've seen scripts that are like, "Here's the sex scene, improvise whatever you want." I can tell you right now, a VA is not gonna take that.
yeah.
So, I'm happy to talk more scripts, so if you have follow-up questions, please throw them in the chat, but hopefully that's, like, a first
I think that's
thing.
great. Yeah, if anybody has any other questions around the script stuff, throw it in. But as a voice actor, the thing that I appreciate, I have almost exclusively improved. I have done nothing but improv up
That's
until,
amazing. That's
a
amazing.
few months ago. And I'm used to, whenever I take scripts, doing like sides, which is like animation stuff. So it says like gleefully, and then you say a line, and then
Mhm.
it has the accents, and then it has like the, whenever you put the ellipses in it, it's actually a noise. So there's that like, oh, dot, 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 how do you feel about that? So if there's that in there, I'm going to read it as, oh, how do you feel about that? And like I'm actually
Mm,
making a noise through the ellipses, because that's the way traditionally like voice acting has done that. So I
that's
love
great.
it. I love it when people put all that stuff in there. I love SFX notes. I think that's super helpful. I also like will often take them and be like, throw a lot of it away because I like to improv.
Totally.
But it's so
Mhm.
great to hear like this is what they were hearing in their head, and they are a lot of the people who write scripts are the people who consume scripts, and so it helps me know like what people are looking for, in that kind of audience. So I love that. Honestly, I think it's great. Sides and
Yeah,
SFX,
hopefully that's
great.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like, honestly, so much of it is breath work.
Oh my god, it really is. Every
Like, the
time I
best
finish an
art like,
audio,
the
I'm like,
best voice yeah,
yeah,
are, like, close to passing out. There are some scenes I listen to some voice actors who are, like, they're very good at, like, the panting and the like, that part of it, like, the
yeah.
breathing part of it, and I'm like, "Are they lightheaded after this? Like, did they
We always
pass
are.
out?"
Yeah, we always are. The one I just did. Well, I'm recording too, but I'm the one I just finished recording. Like, definitely took it out of me. I was just kind of doing like a random, like Southern post-apocalyptic, like he caught her stealing from his store kind of thing, whatever kind of fantasy, but not really. And in the like orgasm scene, which I think was like 2, 3, or 4 minutes, something like that, I just got real close to passing out a few times because I tend to do a lot of breath work. So I was doing a lot of like,
Yeah,
like a lot of that stuff, and it was just like, oh, killing me.
that air goes to your head. Yeah,
It gets right
100%.
up in
Yeah.
your fucking brain because you're like huffing it. But yeah, that was rough. Okay, there was one other question I do. Oh, there were two other questions I wanted to get to. I might slot this one right after another question that I had because it fits in perfect. Have you considered drinking water? Is the question. Yes, we should. VAs should drink
You can't
water.
do it in
I
the middle
don't.
of, like
I'm drinking a Monster, a Diet Dr Pepper, and a water right now. So cut me some slack.
You can't. You also can't do that in the middle of audio recording,
No, no,
unless
during
I
a
guess
no.
unless it's part of the audio.
Honestly, I've found that Diet Dr Pepper and like generally sodas like dry out your mouth a little bit, which is really bad for voice acting. So I've got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
So one question we had was, what's been something new you've discovered about yourself by working in this space?
That's a great question. I think I discovered I'm more creative than I thought I was. I
Hmm.
like up until about a year ago, I was telling. I mean, yeah, but up until maybe even 6 months ago, I was telling people that I'm not a creative person, and I don't say that in a derogatory way. I want to be very clear.
Right.
I mean this in like a truly descriptive manner of like I just creativity is hard for me. Like I can't come up with things on the fly. That is just like not a thing that I've ever been able to do. Like every improv game I've ever played, I just like panic because I like don't know how to yes and. Um and like I literally will be like, and
But I mean,
I
that's the
can't do
benefit of
it.
sitting down to write it too, right? Because you can write. A lot of really good script writers write it as a story and then go back through and parse it into a script. And I think that's,
Yeah.
That's the benefit of script writing is you're not on the spot. You get time to go back to it. You can leave one and come
Yeah.
back. I love that
Oh,
about it.
yeah. I mean, yeah, and it means that you can, like, as inspiration hits, you can write. That is one other thing I've learned is, like, don't try and force a script. If you're not feeling the story, don't write that story. Um,
Yeah.
some of my more mediocre stories have come as a result of me trying to force something that, like, weren't great, and it's always the ones that I just, like, fly through because 'cause I'm really excited about the story that are, like, the best ones.
Right.
Um, yeah, so I feel like I'm a singer, I'm a musician, and, like, I would always like, people would always say, like, "Of course you're creative, like, you're a singer, or, you do music." And it's like, "No, but I do classical music." And, like, classical music, it's like quarter note gets the beat. There are 4 notes in a measure, so sing 4 notes. Like, it's very mathematical to me. Like, when I'm
Yeah.
singing, it's like these are the rules. It like the sheet music tells me what the rhythm is, what the notes are, even the dynamic level. Like, is it supposed to
Yeah.
be wistful? Is it supposed to be like marching band? Like, I just follow the rules. Like, it's on the paper. Whereas like jazz music blows my mind. Jazz musicians blow my fucking mind because like they can look at something and just improvise and create something that's never existed before based off of the suggestions of a note and a key on a page. And so I've always
Right.
had this thing where it's like, I have toes in the creative world, but I'm not a creative person inherently. Um, and I think what I've learned through script writing over the last 6 months or so is that I actually am creative. Like, I've been very surprised by some of the stuff that I've written. I like one of my first scripts, I went into like a fugue state. That's the only way to describe it. I just like started writing, like 4 hours later, I came out with that first draft, and I was like, and it's fucking filthy. Like, I read back that, and I was like, where did this come from?" So so that's been a fun discovery. Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. I want to. I guess I'll try to answer that question too. I think people who have been around here know. I at one time a long time ago was a minister, and so I had a lot of like weird religious hangups from that. Yeah, I mean, public speaking and smut go along. Who would have thought? There's an overlap period where I was like going to
A transferable
dungeons.
skill.
Yeah, I was like going to dungeons, exploring kinks while a minister still. So there's like some overlap with that. It's really fun for me.
If you haven't turned that into an audio, by the way.
Look, priest audios just happened to hit just perfect. Anyway, um, the like the release of that kind of like energy into the world and being able to say like I can make whatever I want, nobody's going to judge me. I can develop like different ideas, personas. I can kind of explore things that I thought were really funny or interesting, and a lot of things. Something that I really really hate that is happening sometimes to audio erotica is that it is the Wild West, and you can really just do whatever you want. And some people have looked at it and been like, oh, if I just do the same thing over and over again, people like it, and they will for a
Yeah.
while, which is great. But like, there's just so much there to mine and to play with and to explore, and to just say like, oh well, I'm just going to get on the mic and be like, oh, you're such a good girl over and over again is just so boring to me. And I
It
want to
does,
like,
yeah.
I want to have more than that. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. 'Cause
yeah.
if it's just that, then anybody can do it, right? And
Right.
then we
Yeah.
forget the fact that there's acting involved. Like, you are acting, like,
Yeah.
right? You're embodying the character as a space cowboy or whatever it is, like,
Please let
right?
me be
Even
a
the
space
pleasure is
cowboy.
acting.
I need to do
I
a space cowboy
First of all,
one.
I can't believe you don't already have one of those, so
I should do one. The cowboy persona thing is new. But what you said earlier too around like classical music versus jazz, I think there's an element of like, if you look at voice acting, classical music is very similar to like commercial. You get that like, come down to Big Billy's Burgers and get yourself a hog burger. It's $4.99.
yeah.
And it's like, you have to do it a specific way. Everybody's done it a specific way forever. You're not supposed to change that. You can change it for certain things, but most people don't. But then you get over to erotica, and it's like an interpretive jazz. Like, you just kind of get to look at something and be like, I am going to be an alien. I'm going to throw a voice changer right here. I'm going to reverb here. I'm going to add the nastiest sounding butt fucking right here audio that's going to just completely blow people's minds. Like, you kind of just get to play with whatever you want to do. And I think that's pretty great, is that you get to kind of like open up and be you get to open up and be pretty cool about making it whatever. And there's that. I think both of those elements are true, and I think they're both creative. Right? Being good at classical music is a creative thing. I think that makes sense.
It is, but and I'm not saying that I'm, like, the least creative person in the world, but it was just, like, before
Clearly
this,
not.
I'd never created, literally created something that never existed before, and now I am, and it's a new experience, it's been really very fun to explore, yeah. Yeah,
I want to jump down some of the questions that I had, and then we'll come back to some of that. We've got three
sure.
audience questions, but one I want to ask about is kinks. Let's talk about kinks. What are your
Ooh.
favorites? What do you love? And what do you hate in audio?
Oh
And we don't
god.
have to say hate, but
Okay,
what do you not like as much? If maybe you hear it too much, maybe it's just something that's not your favorite, and we can start on either end of that spectrum.
so just to clarify, when you say kinks, are you just
Kinks
just to
can okay.
clarify,
Let's be clear about the fact that kinks can be
tropes?
literally
Yeah,
anything because they can be
okay.
a body part, or they can even be just like saying "I love you" in audios. There are people who like
Okay.
really get off on the idea of somebody that they don't know saying "I love you."
Okay, yes. I thank you for the clarity because I think, like, depending on who you ask, that definition is gonna be a little different.
Yeah, I mean, kinks is a
Um,
really loose definition.
right, yeah. I kind of said this at the top. The audios that my favorite flippin' audios are the most casual sex there's ever been. Like, it's literally 2 people who are like, "You're hot, I'm hot, we should probably fuck." Those are my favorite audios. Roommates that decide to sleep together,
Yeah, hockey
best
player,
friends or even
interviewer.
friend.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure,
meet greet.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, like
meet cute stuff. I get it.
and not even meet cutes. I mean, meet cute's fine.
Is it wait?
Depends on how it's done.
Is it more the like lack of emotion? Is it the kind of the hate? Is it the hate fuck element of it, or is it the they just don't? It's so casual that they don't care about each other kind of element.
It's the lack of emotion.
Yeah, but it's not
I'm
objectifying,
so
right?
avoidant. Yeah, no, exactly. It's not people, like, using each other's bodies,
Right,
although that's I don't mind that
right.
as an idea, but as long as it's
There
consensual
has to
and,
be a
like,
name for
whatever
this because
mutually.
it does really fall along that like it's not free use, it's not objectification, it's not
Yeah.
hate fucking, which is
It's
the
not
far end of
hate. Yeah.
that. It's that just
Mhm.
like I'm just you're there. I'm never gonna
No,
talk to you
really.
again. Yeah,
Or it's like you're there and I trust you because you're my
right.
friend, and we have this, or maybe it's like we used to fuck and it's been 15 years. Let's like do it again and see if it's
Yeah.
still fun. Like
For
it's
whatever reason, there's an
when
inherent
okay,
trust. Yeah. Safety.
I think when there's like yeah, trust and safety are key. And then there's also like the point is mutual pleasure
Yeah.
is like, yes. I am
There
not,
has to be a
again,
name for this. This has to have a name.
there
I
has
don't
to
know
be,
it,
right?
but
Yeah. Maybe we
I
should come up
do.
with one.
I know exactly what you mean. We do need to. We should name this.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, I just call it casual, like the really, really casual audios of just like, there's a dumb audio that Karen Kingston did on Valentine's Day that is like my go-to at this point. And it's just like 2 roommates who decided to have sex, and there's no emotional, like, "I've always been in love with you," or like, "I've been waiting for you to break up with her." Like, there's none of that.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're single, I'm single, Valentine's Day sucks, you wanna fuck?" And I'm like, "Yes." This audio is a yes for me. So as far as things that are my favorite, I love those. I also really love audios with lots of, oral on the girl or
Yeah.
oral on the vulva owner. Um,
Do you like the slurping noises? Because people
I do.
what we call them wet
Yeah,
noises in the game. Like some people hate them.
totally, and I understand why. I absolutely understand why people
It's
hate them.
grating on
I
a lot
love
of
it.
people's ears. I get it.
Yeah, especially if you have like sensory overload, or people who are
Right.
neurodivergent might have sensory things.
Yeah.
For me, oh my god, I love the wet sound. I
You want
literally
to hear
write
the
into my
sloppy? Do
script
you want people? I'm
SFX.
just curious. Do you want people talking through it, or do you just want to hear the sloppy? Because this is
I
another
don't mind either.
preference. Okay. I'm just curious.
I like both. I think it has to be like, if you are talking through it, you can't be talking the whole time because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. There's got to
But
be
if
like
it's like a
some.
line,
Yeah. 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 You're so perfect for me.
yeah,
Midway.
like
Yeah.
say a line or two, and then 10 seconds of noises, and then another couple of lines, and then another few, it doesn't have to be realistic for me. Like, for
Yeah.
me, it's like, I get it, it's an audio, he's going down on me, great.
Yeah.
So he can like talk through it a little bit. In real life, I'd probably be like, "Can you?"
Yeah, shut the fuck up, please. I think the only reason it makes sense to talk, because I talk in the middle of it, and I think part of the reason I do that is because the pure audio element of it, like if you just have headphones on or whatever, is not as exciting as the like, you know, the talking through like, oh my God, you're so wet right now. Oh my God, you taste so amazing. Oh, you're swelling for me
Yeah.
perfectly. All that stuff. That works
Yeah.
really well whenever you're making sloppy noises, for sure.
I agree. I
Less
think I
talking, more
think
tone.
very few people. Yes,
Somebody
exactly.
said sorry.
I think very few people. No, it's in the chat. I saw it. Very few people can actually do like a whole oral scene without words, and and you have to rely on the SFX at that
Oh
point.
yeah.
The
Oh
breathing,
yeah.
the SFX, like if you're not going to use words, then it's like there's wet sounds, there's like breathing, there's maybe like a little bit of moaning, of just like pleasure from the giver. So
Yeah.
I think those are the things that work. So those are my two that I like every single time. I will love those audios. Um the ones that I don't like, so there's nothing that I've come across that I like. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. There is
There's
one that I've come
everybody
across.
hates
I was
one
like,
they
nope.
yeah, there's one everybody doesn't like. I know that.
I came across an audio with like a very arrogant, the voice actor was like an extremely arrogant person,
Yeah.
like very
Some people
cocky,
like
very
that.
like, oh no, you want me, like I can tell, like you're, whatever. And I was like, I fucking hate this. I hated that character. And I was like, nah, you're not like I can't even I can't even go there in my fantasy world of like, well, this is like fake. This is
Yeah.
not happening to me in real life.
But it's about
Um,
you. It's not about, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, I get it.
and I couldn't do it. He was one of my favorite voice actors, and I was like, there was a moment where like out of a sense of loyalty, I was like, I want to listen to this audio because I want to like
Why would you
support
push through?
him.
It's just like, you know,
Oh, I didn't.
whatever it is. Oh, okay,
I
I was
didn't.
gonna say it's just like what is it called whenever you get rid of a book? Uh
Oh, when you just like don't finish a book, or you're
yeah,
just like, I'm
fucking there's a
done.
name.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's like whenever you just shelf it and you're like, fuck this one. This is not happening.
yeah, yeah. No, it was truly like I started it like 4 different times over the course of like a month. I'm like, "Oh, maybe I was just in, like, a bad mood," and I hated it every single time.
DNF, thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think if you're gonna pull arrogant, you really do have to be. It has to be paranormal or like I'm doing a vampire audio right now,
Mm.
with another creator, and the two of us are like, we're doing the whole like classic Anne Rice thing where we're splitting a virgin, and we're kind of doing like a modern
Ooh.
version of it where I can't talk about it too much, but she is she's kind of like nerdy, kind of pulling some inspiration from a couple of like recent like object romance books where she's kind of like a nerdy, super into vampire girl, but she's a virgin, and so we're like exploring that with her, and the idea of like one of us is going to be very haughty and one of us is going to be less, and I think I'm the one that's supposed to be the more like prideful one, but I don't think you can pull that off in standard. I don't think most voice actors can pull that off in a standard audio, unless you're just like being like a jock, like, you want me so bad, don't you, dirty little slut. Like, you'd have to be so over the top and goofy that it plays. You got to circle it around.
I don't know. I looked at the comments on this audio because I was like, it's not just me, right? Everyone was
Oh yeah.
like this would work on me, and I was like, okay, well,
I
I'm
mean,
not
there's a
built that way.
reason that the kind of like arrogant stuff, it does play. I mean, it does work. I do think I think there's a horseshoeing effect, right? Like, you either have
Yeah.
to be stupid enough or really hot enough or funny enough, or it's got to be so over the top that it horseshoes back around to cute. Otherwise, if you just keep
Yeah.
going to where it's like Wolf of Wall Street, like, fuck that guy. Like,
Yeah, no,
he
it's
better have enough.
it's
He's got to have enough money. That's another horseshoe if it comes back around.
oh, that's
You
another
can't be broke and prideful.
no, billionaire tropes. Fucking hate that
Oh
shit.
God, thank you. Okay.
Hate it.
For just a second, I want to shit on billionaire tropes because I'm so over it.
Sure.
I get it. I want to be really clear. I get it. There's a creator who I absolutely adore, named Britt in her books, who was just talking about like she said something about how we want our fictional men rich because we already have too many broke real men. I get it. Okay.
Oh, I know who
understand.
you're talking about. I know the creator you're talking
Brit's
about.
great.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
her. But
Yeah, yeah.
but I had this moment of like, I get it. I do. I promise I do. I get it. I love safety and security. I love the thought that you'd never have to. But why billionaire? Why can't he just be like well off? Why's he gotta
Yeah,
be?
why can't you just be like,
Yeah, because we know like a billionaire's the worst. Come on, we all hate
no,
him, right?
you can't be a billionaire
This
ethically. So like, why
Thank
are
you. No
we?
ethical billionaires. Still, it extends to audio. Fuck those guys. Stop writing those books. Stop writing that smut. I swear to God, if he's got too much money, I'm going to play him like a douchebag.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I can't. Well, name a rich guy that hasn't been a dick. I don't
right.
know. Like,
So somebody in the chat just said Dom the billionaires. I take it back. Billionaires, yes, but only if they're subs. Or if they're like aggressively domed till they become subs. I'm down for
oh,
this.
they said FinDom, so it means like
Oh,
you pay all my fucking bills. Yeah.
okay. All right. I'm okay-ish. Well, but a billionaire is still unethically like
I know,
I'd rather
same.
him be getting pegged than him paying bills cuz he has enough money. Pedro Pascal's not a fucking billionaire. Don't throw him in. Don't loop him into this.
No,
He
no, no,
doesn't count.
no.
He's not a billionaire.
Millionaires are fine.
No, we allow ethical millionaires. That's fine. Inflation's a bitch. We allow ethical millionaires.
Just tariffs, yeah.
Fuck billionaires. They don't
Tariffs are
get
really
to.
high.
Tariffs are really getting us. Yeah, fuck. Where was I?
Yeah, we got. I listen. That's fine. We were shitting on billionaire tropes. So yeah,
I
those are the
hate
tropes
them.
I love.
There
And
were
hate.
so many
Yeah.
for so. It's still happening. There's a lot of billionaire. I just got an audiobook thing about like 4 billionaires and a woman, and I'm like, I like the idea of a bunch of ripped tech dorks, pretending like they want to give head pisses me off. Throw zombies or
It's
pegging or something into it, like ruin them for me, please.
right. It's boring. I think part of it is that it's boring. I find them boring. Let me not. I'm
Yeah,
not yucking anyone. For me personally,
yeah.
they just don't do it for me. Like there's all of this stuff lives in the world of fantasy, but like there's certain elements that I just like. My imagination is. Maybe it's just too limited. I don't know, but like I can't deal with arrogance. I can't deal with billionaire crap. Um, and I can only deal with like a certain degree of romance. Like romance is not
This is
my
this is the
thing.
other task we have tonight is to name the thing that you were talking about because I feel it, I know it in my bones, but I do not have a name for it. It does exist,
Yeah.
and it's just dead center because a little bit to the right of it is like, the objectification, the like,
Mhm.
hate fucking and all that stuff, and to
Eat
the left of
sexy.
it's
Yep.
a
Mhm.
little bit of like meet cute stuff is just to the left. It's dead center. I just met you, you're hot. We feel safe with each other for whatever reason, or we know each other long enough. We should just fuck, get it out of our system. There's no
Yeah.
like feelings here. We're just gonna do it. Like,
Yeah. It's just like sex for the sake of sex. Like
it
that's
is
what
a
it.
need. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know what that's.
Mutually assured pleasure.
I like
I don't know.
that, but I feel like that's still gonna go down the romance
It
plot a
does.
lot
I
of the
know. It
time.
really could. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll think
Yeah.
of it. We'll find something. I've only done, I think, one like this that was like, it was like a Christmas audio, so it's a very weird one. There's a
I love that. That's great.
he's a bartender
I
MC, and he's fucking her in the back room. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
great. That sounds fun. That
Yeah,
sounds great. I love
that's fine.
that.
There's an
One
elk
of my
noise at
favorite
one
audios
point.
I wrote is this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I said there's an elk noise at some point. That's all. It's fine.
Oh. Fantastic.
Sorry,
No
it
notes.
like it 360s the story. I like wrapped this. I improv'd it, and so there's a beginning part where he's like telling this drunk guy not to bring an elk into the bar because it's not a reindeer or whatever. And there's a bunch of people dressed up like Santa. Yeah, it's called the Santa Con. Everybody's dressed up like Santa, and he takes her backstage and fucks her like while the band is playing on stage and blah blah blah. That's I think as close as I get to the casual piece of it. I'm so far off. Where are we?
That's all right. We have both taken left turns here. It's all fine.
I do want to make sure we get this one in, so I want to talk about the state of erotica. How do you feel about where we are right now in the erotica space? What kind of trends are you seeing that you think others may not be noticing, or that you think are worth like exploring? And I'd also kind of love to hear where you think it's going, but we can kind of talk about that later too.
Yeah. What was the first part of that question again? Just so I have it.
Fair. I said, how do you feel about the current state of erotica? More of kind of a like gut check. How do you feel about where it's at? And then
Yeah.
what trends do you see that you want to talk about or you think others might be missing?
Yeah, so I thank you. I think there's uh, sorry, I need to, like, organize my thoughts.
No, no, you're good.
Um, I think I think audio erotica is genuinely like an extremely freeing experience. It's I've talked to a lot of people in the community where and this it includes me of just like self discovery,
Hmm.
being able to explore components of like our queerness that we might not have had the opportunity to do so before, exploring kinks and all that stuff. So it's very there's that. It's also just fun. Like let's not forget the fact that audio erotica is just fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, one of the things that I at least in the community that I've sort of found myself, um, coupling of convenience is very good, that's very good, um, is, the community still largely gears towards, like, a white, cis, hetero woman,
Yeah.
um, and that's, like, right. Quinn I have a really interesting Quinn is an interesting app because audio erotica has existed on all these other places, like Reddit being
Yeah.
probably one of the primary
Reddit,
spaces
YouTube. Yeah.
for so long. Like
Yeah.
it's been around for a long time, and there's a lot of people who think that, and this includes me, was like who thought audio erotica started with Quinn, um, which is not true.
Right.
And in fact, a lot of the voice actors on Quinn have never done audio erotica before. So now you have this interesting place where you've got like this platform that pays their voice actors very well,
Yeah.
pays them what they should be getting paid for an art form.
Yeah.
Voice actors, a lot of whom have never done audio erotica before, which thankfully a lot of them are very, very good at it.
Yeah.
And then you've got the world of audio erotica as it existed beforehand, where people are still putting content out there for free, and are relying on tips from their followers.
Yeah.
And yet we are prone to legitimizing a platform like Quinn above Reddit because of that monetary component of it, right? So this is in some ways this is just us being in like late stage capitalism. Um, which is a whole other topic and
Let's
I'm
not tell Caroline you said that. It's fine.
yeah. Yeah. I'll tell her. I don't know. So it's like interesting because it's like I understand the business model that Quinn has to use because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
right. The downside to being able to pay your voice actors like this is that you are beholden to venture capitalists. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to go into like the business terms here, but basically like you have people who gave you money to start your company
Yeah.
and you have to have returns or and whatever
Yeah. For
data
those who
analytics.
may not be aware in chat, like Quinn is still VC backed, and I don't even know if they still technically turn a profit. I'm not sure. I think they were
I'm
headed
not sure
toward
yet.
profitability last year or something, but it is hard to make money in this space, despite
Yes.
the fact that Quinn does make a lot of money. They also spend a bunch of money because they're trying to make sure they stay on top, and being able to control competition in this space is really hard because, as you mentioned, there are thousands of off-roads.
Right. And I think that's the place where I would want to see more this on voice actors of all racial and gender backgrounds. Like there's
Right.
not a lot of content geared towards non-binary trans listeners on there's a few on Quinn and they're
Yeah.
like few and far between, right?
Yeah.
Um there are two Asian voice actors that I know of.
Yeah.
There's a couple of Latino, Latinx, a handful of Black creators. But I mean, it's the irony that like this app that was created by women for women, primarily, the people who get paid the most are cis straight white men. Is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I mean, it was.
uh,
I don't want to shit talk anybody here, so I want to be careful
no,
about the way I say this. But like, I mean, I think even Caroline's own story about how she founded this was like a very white woman way of running into this.
I agree. I
I
agree.
think that's
And
fine.
it's. I don't know if it's fine. I don't know if I understand it.
I don't work for
I
Quinn, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna
me
shit.
neither do I. I I understand her journey, and I think it's the same journey a lot of white women have experienced. And
Yeah, they
so,
weren't finding pleasure. They found it in a place they weren't expecting, and then they
right,
they had the means by which to, through family and connections, to like monetize that, and have had to. Dipsy did a lot of the same thing, except I think their approach is very radically different in the sense that their VAs are storytellers, and they're not like they're
yeah,
not meant to be like celebrities in that sense.
a different format. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just like a different,
entirely.
yeah, format. I haven't actually spent a lot of time on Gypsy, because it's not quite the audio erotica that I want to listen to at the
Right.
moment.
Right, right.
Um, yeah, so I think, like, I think it has been revolutionary. I think it actually is amazing what has been accomplished by platforms like Quinn is amazing, and I'm loving to see, like, kind of discovering Magic Wave and seeing more voices there. I think that's great.
Yeah.
One of the benefits of a platform like that is that you can vet your voice actors,
Yeah.
and you can, or do more to vet your voice actors, and you can make sure that there are rules in place to ensure that voice actors aren't harassing their listeners,
Yeah.
which you can't do on Reddit. So
Yeah.
there's a pro and con for both models of doing this. I think what I'd like to see in the future is maybe more of an investment in listeners who might not be the quote unquote mainstream. And I wish it didn't have to be a separate app. I wish it didn't have to be, oh, now
Yeah.
the black creators are going to go create their own app and the queer creators are going to go create their own app. And like, if that's what needs to happen, that's what needs to happen. But like,
Yeah.
if you pick voice actors and writers who can write these things authentically and pay them and put that content out, right? Audioerotica is not meant to be something where everyone likes everything that's put out there.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, the people who wanna stick with their, like, white British dudes can totally do that. Um,
The people who want
and the people
colonizers
who
can
wanna
just stay there. No, I'm kidding.
You said it, not me.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly, but it's like, like, the people who wanna hear queer stories or stories with non-binary representation,
Yeah.
it's in there, and it's not just, like, 1 or 2 written by, like, a cis woman who's, like, guessing at what this experience is, right?
What's it like to finger
Um,
a woman in a car? I don't know.
yeah, exactly, like, maybe you shouldn't just guess at that, you know what I mean? So,
There are a lot of queer
um
writers. We could let them do some of that. No, I 100% agree with you. I also think it's so hard because, like you mentioned, the thing about the vocal piece of it is that we've really divided that to where it's less around about race. Um, it's more around audience type and then also kind of like representation around who is listening. It has the thing about audio that's so fascinating to me versus other mediums is it's almost always about who is listening to it and not who's making it.
Mhm.
Um, Granted, Quinn, like you said, is majority white, and I think this is because of the way they recruit their voice actors, is that they are attractive white men on TikTok who have, well, look, everybody has their own spice, but they are, men who got popular on TikTok or somewhere else for being attractive and having a certain kind of voice. And so
Mhm.
they got picked up, they got trained how to do this, and then they make some of this stuff. But the larger audience for this, the YouTubes, the Reddits, the Magic Waves, they all have different like audio platform kind of listeners. Magic Wave leans more Eastern. There's more of a kind of like anime like focus. There I get to do a lot more. I'm on Magic Wave. I get to do a lot more
I know.
paranormal and crazy stuff and things like that. I just did a dragon audio. Like I get a lot of like freedom and I
Oh, I
like
know.
that. I like that kind of like interest in doing things that aren't, the like I met you behind a bar, let's fuck in the alley and I'm gonna moan for 10 minutes and it's gonna be, whatever. Which those can be fun, but I like adding like extra elements to that. Um, and I do think it's just like the like superstar piece of it only works in certain atmospheres. Like Reddit can
Mhm.
pull that card a little bit because there have been people, um, guys I think about like Badger who just passed away, who like had that kind of borderline superstar status of somebody who just like was a like hero in this space and like a big name in
Mhm.
this space. And then there are people who, perform on Quinn who are more known, I think, for, like their visual representation than they are known for their audio representation.
Sure.
And I think that's really, I think that's kind of what it has come down to. So I don't know where the answer for that lies, but I do think it's going to be less about, although it shouldn't be less about race, I think it's going to be more about like LGBT representation in the future, especially.
Yeah,
As
I
we
mean, I
see.
hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope that there's more of that, and I do hope that there's also racial representation too, because it's like one of my favorite audios that I wrote was for Asian Heritage Month, and it was like the story was like an Asian woman taking her friend to a wedding and asking him to be like her fake boyfriend.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a fake dating trope, which I never thought I'd do, but it ended up
I
being one
love
of my
this for
favorite
you.
audios. Yeah, listen, I'm being creative.
Hey, you know what? It would
Um,
sell, 20 million copies in in bookstores if you get the right cover on it. So,
I know it's true. The cover art is very, very key in the romance and romanticy world. I think like that audio was actually one of my favorites because one, I think I'm gonna pat myself on the back for a minute. I do think I wrote it in a way where the Asianness was ambiguous. Like
yeah,
you were definitely Asian, but you could have been South Asian, you could have been Indian, you could have been
right.
Pakistani,
I
you
mean,
could have been
Asian
Korean.
is such a massive, like, it's
Oh my
become this
god.
like idea of Eastern is, yeah,
Yes. But it's like a third of the world.
yeah, exactly. It really,
Like,
like, if you include India within that, which I think most people rightfully would, you're
don't.
really
They
talking about
forget to. A lot of people
more than,
forget.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're really talking about more than a third of the world. And I mean, like, I have a close friend, Sawaro, who makes audio, who is, who's Southeast Asian, and like there is a big piece of that that's really difficult to authentically do in audio, without it coming across as like baiting in some way, or like,
Or fetishizing.
or fetish. Yeah, fuck, that is such a. I think people here all know this. I'm a white dude. Like, I can't, talk here, but I really do think it's fair to say, like, it's so hard not to, you know, you have to play that so close to the chest, because if you get too close into the, like, so there's a police car going by, if you play too close to the like high pitched noise, you immediately get into the like, you're fetishizing other Asian people by making this like high pitched young girl voice and all that shit. It's just so, ugh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. No,
hard.
I think it's right. If I ever listened to an audio that was meant for an Asian listener and it was talking about like the dark hair and the shape of my eyes, that starts feeling like real gross, right? Like that's like ew. Like
Yeah,
I'm not like your little fuck toy.
yeah. But
Um,
there are quiet parts of
but
culture that people don't get unless you're in those cultures, that you can say that only the people who are within those cultures will get, and it will work. And I think that's the way you have
and
to play
only
it.
those people should be writing them is the other thing
Yes,
too,
I
right? Is like,
100% agreed.
like don't like if I ever the first Asian audio I came across, the writer was Froggy, and, if anyone like, she's a scriptwriter, and I didn't know if she was Asian. The first thing I did, before I even allowed myself to listen to this audio, I dug through her fucking Instagram,
You're
because I
like,
was like,
I need to know.
this woman better be Asian." Like, if you're gonna do a Lunar New Year audio, this woman better be Asian, and she is. Um, because I was about to fucking throw like, I was about to be like, "Hi, you can't do this
Yeah,
if you're not, from this background," and, like, Froggy's amazing, like, we love Froggy, and I but, like, yeah, like, I think it's like, audio erotica, the whole point is, like, anybody should be able to see themselves in the audio, right? Like, that's
yeah,
kind of the idea is,
that's the
like
goal. Unless, I mean, again,
right,
unless
that's
it's
the goal,
targeting a specific,
right.
audience, like we're doing
But I
trans or
think
something.
the yes, exactly, but the reason why we need to do those specific audios more is because, like, when you're not part of the mainstream, we are
Hmm.
asked all the time to see ourselves represented in the mainstream, but the mainstream is never asked to see themselves represented in our stories.
Right.
Like, like the default is whiteness, right? The default
Yeah.
is cisgender. And so like I could listen to a lot of audios and see myself in them, but then when I hear an audio for me, then it's like, "Oh, this is actually for me," and that's
Yeah.
why and the thing is, the reason I know it's important is because people still get mad about it. People
Yeah.
still get mad about, like,
Yeah.
"Well, I can see myself in this
If it
audio."
pisses them off,
I'm
then
like,
good.
"Well"
Like, it means it's doing what it's supposed to.
right, but, like, the fact that it pisses you off is also that means that you know that you're the default and that you think
Yeah.
you deserve to be the default.
Right.
So, like, yeah, it's I don't know where I'm going with this. I could
No, I think,
just talking.
like larger culture, we can point at all kinds of things. Like, we could talk about, K-pop Demon Hunters being like the most watched cartoon ever on
Yeah,
Netflix, like stuff like that, where I think I think culture is primed to start looking more outside of the whiteness of it all, and like hearing other types of stories and hearing other types of that are really not hard to relate to. Like it's not hard to relate to boy band, girl band, fighting, and also demons. Like every culture has some sort of an equivalent
Sure.
of that. Like all that stuff is easy to slot into most cultures. But it's one of those things that I think, it is tough to get right, because you both have to have the right person do it. They have to do it in a way that doesn't fetishize their own kind of like reality, and even if they do, like, be given some grace around that. And that's also tough to, like, you can get eaten alive by writing the wrong kind of script in the wrong kind of time
Oh
and
yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And it's such a tough line to walk. And I don't, being a white performer, it's so easy for me to just like, I get to kind of be allowed to do whatever. And, like, Regency's never a question for me. But we all had that, like,
Right.
we all know what happened whenever fucking Bridgerton, like, started throwing people who weren't white on it. It's like everybody started
Yeah.
talking shit, and it's like, calm down. It's Regency. It's not a real thing.
Like,
This shit was
everyone
not
freaking
real.
relax. There's so much that's not right. Oh, Froggy's here. Hi, Froggy. Sorry, I just got
No, no,
something
no.
in
Hi,
it.
Froggy.
Yeah, no, exactly, and I think it's like that trust piece that you talked about is really important, and I think like
Yeah,
as white voice actors, something I'd like to see more of is white voice actors saying like, I want to work with writers of color.
yeah,
I want to do an interracial audio.
yeah,
Because it's hard for us as writers to know who. Like, I knew I could trust Dr. Rapture, and I knew I could
yeah,
trust Dr. Rapture because he's done audience specific audios before. He does
yeah,
curve love really well. He's done audios for Black listeners, and I was like, he's gonna be fine. Like, I trusted
yeah,
him with that. That is not an audio I would have put. That's not a script I would have put in front of a lot of people, to be honest.
yeah,
Um, and part of it is because, like, if you haven't done an interracial audio before, like, I don't know if you can do it, and I
yeah,
don't know if you want to do it. And like, to me, it was like seeing the evidence already of Dr. Rapture's um, catalog was like, oh, he'll do this just fine. And I knew
yeah,
I mean, even the parts that he improvised were spot on. Like
yeah,
he was so like on that. And I think that's one of those things where it's like, I don't know who is going to be interested in doing like a community specific audio. And it's risky for us, writers of color,
yeah,
to reach out to someone and be like, hey, do you want to do an audio for Asian listeners or Black listeners or Latine listeners? Because the rejection, if there's a rejection, which the rejection could just be like, I don't have time. But the rejection of that is stings twice as much
right.
if we
Yeah,
don't know why the rejection is happening.
yeah,
Um, because the space is still so white and so geared towards white listeners and white voice actors, it's just something that we're all constantly thinking about. Um, so yeah, I think it's like it's the two voice actors that I did like an Asian audio with were two people that I trusted, and I did not put that script in front of anyone other than those two. There was one other person who did not respond to me, like, just didn't respond to it, and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna come to you for this type of audio ever again, unless you specifically say, 'Sorry about that, my life was wild, I'd love to do one of these in the future.'"
yeah.
So
I mean, we all know, like, emails that have gone to spam, and I get
mhm,
random like reach outs sometimes from script writers, and I'm like, I have no idea who you are. I would love to, but
yeah.
the amount of time I have to like invest in figuring out who you are, if I don't recognize your name, it's so hard for me to, because I already know a lot of people who write in this space of different, backgrounds and sexualities and everything else. So I'm
Mhm,
interested in that. I also think there's a benefit in, like, lived experience is important in audio in a way that it's not necessarily in a lot of other spaces. Like,
mm,
you can act on screen in scenarios you've never been in, because there are a lot of scenarios on screen you've never lived in, but relationships are hard to fake. And
mm,
being open-minded in a, like, even just having been in interracial relationships before and knowing that kind of like cultural mismatch is something that I think a lot of people just struggle with, of knowing how
mhm.
that can be awkward and funny, and like it can be really funny. That's something nobody ever does,
Yeah,
is like, it's funny sometimes. Like, I can be
I love a funny audio.
I love a, like, stop, we're laughing, something funny happened, kind of moment. That's always really fun. I just had a story
Yeah.
pop to my head that I will not say out loud because what happened was super inappropriate, and so I'm not talking about this. Sorry, but keep in
You're
mind,
teasing your audience.
I had a moment that happened that was very funny pop into my mind. that I'm not going to share from a relationship I
You're
had.
like,
Anyway,
this amazing thing happened, and I'm
this
not telling
really
any of you
fun thing
about it.
happened in the relationship I was with that was really different. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I do want to ask some more. We have a few more questions people have asked. I
Yeah.
especially want to focus on the ones on they're targeting you specifically. One was, do you think it's doing too much to include suggested dialogue from the POV of the listener so that the VA can time the pauses more accurately?
I don't know that. I don't think it matters. What I will say is don't over rely on that.
Yeah,
What I mean by that is sometimes, and I get it. I think the advice I have, some people really need to hear the dialogue. Like the writer needs to see the dialogue laid out.
yeah,
What the advice I give to the writer is like once you've written out the dialogue, go and white out, like using white font, the listener audio or like listener uh, lines, and then
yeah,
read the script again just from the perspective of the VA. Because sometimes, like, the thing that the listener says is the thing that makes the thing make sense. Like, the choreography is the thing that makes sense, or
yeah,
like
yeah,
his response to her makes sense because of what she said. But if you read through the male perspective, or whoever the voice actor is, I shouldn't assume
yeah. I
male,
mean,
but
most of the
whoever
time it's
the
male. That's
voice actor
fair. Yeah,
perspective is, right. Um, but the voice actor perspective, if it doesn't make sense from line to line, then you might be over relying on that. So
yeah,
it's a good opportunity to do like a second draft where you take some of the lines that she might be saying and put it into the lines of the voice actor.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
I think the call and response is good. I think if you really, really, really want to include the audio of the other person, you either need to write it in a duet or you need to write it narrative style. Because I think if you're doing, because we can all do the whole like, I told her she was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and she started to fumble over her words and began to tell me how much she cared about, like you can do that as a one reader, that's fine, but some people fucking hate that. There's a reason there's not as much narrative style audio. But then I think there's also like if you pause for more than a second in an audio, people will think it's cut off. If there's no noise for more than 1 second, people start to go like, wait, what happened?
I think there is though. I think there is a way to do it from
Yeah,
the perspective of a voice actor, right? Is like I just wrote one and I think might be going out in the next couple weeks. I don't know. This is the other thing. Sometimes voice actors just drop your audios, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm promoting this
we
now.
also don't get told a lot of the
Um,
time when they're going live, which
yeah,
happens to me all the
yeah,
time.
I totally, absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes it's a platform thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's like I wrote this one that was like there is a sizable moment where like the answer that the listener would be saying is more than like yes.
yeah,
um So there is a bit of a pause, but, like, I've included, like, background noise, like, it's raining in the
yeah.
background. So there's an audio cue that there's still something going on. Also, the voice actor has been instructed to kind of be like, "Mm,
Yeah, that's the
mm."
call and response I mean too of like when you're I like the idea of having their dialogue there so that I can there's two sides to this. One is that whenever you think of a listener called response, it will be faster than a performed response because performed responses are
Correct.
slow anyway.
Mhm.
We're already talking very slow and we're
Yeah.
trying to lean you into the audio. Like it's a very like meticulously slow audio process for most of us. And when there's that call and response, it's pretty easy to just say like, tell me exactly what your fantasies are, and then just to do the, oh really? Well, hmm. I can't wait to explore. Like having that like call and response of it is really simple. Of like, then the listener
Yeah.
can be imagining whatever they want, of
Oh,
what their kink
absolutely.
is in that moment. So
Absolutely. Which, by the way, you're very good at this. You're, like, flipping in and out of this is, like, excellent.
I
Um
do it professionally.
I mean, listen, the skills show. I do think like with writing that stuff, the thing that this is a piece of advice I've given to a lot of writers is like you just have to spoon feed your audience a little bit. Like
Yeah.
in real life, in a real life situation, somebody wouldn't be like, okay, I'm going to put you on this table now.
Yeah. Never.
Like he would just do it. He would just pick me up and put me on the table. Um,
But he has to
but
say it
in
or
an
you don't
audio
know what's
format, yeah,
happening. Yeah, you have no fucking
exactly.
idea what that just got slammed to the floor. Um
Exactly.
And I mean, you
It's
can.
like
This is where stage direction is
in,
so helpful too, because you can have that like, you know, the actor leans in and whispers in her ear, "I'm gonna fuck you so hard on this table," and then you hear like things get cleared off a table, like
right.
that very clearly is like this is stage direction now. But you can't. The thing about the audio format is you cannot assume the nuance.
Yes.
People have no fucking idea what's in your mind. And if you write that dialogue response back, whatever you think you're responding with is not what they're thinking. 100%. It is
Yes.
never the same thing. They will not
Right. Because
expect
we're
the same
all
response.
doing it exactly, and we're all right. We're all going to respond to things differently first and foremost, and we're
Yeah.
all going to be doing that from our own context. So you have to actually provide the context. And I'm just
Yeah.
like it's the rules is like for people who are familiar with theater, like if you've ever done theater,
Yeah.
something happens on the scene. Like if you drop, I don't know, a glove
Yeah.
during a scene, you have to find a way to pick up that glove during the scene because
Yeah.
otherwise the audience is just fixating on the glove
They're
that
going to
has
stare at
fallen
the glove the
on the
rest of the
scene.
time. It's all they're going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have to like you can't just like put in a noise. You have to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I knocked over the glass of water."
Yeah. And then also imagining the lights are off on the stage. So anything that is happening they're imagining to happen, you have to clean up those bits too of like, you know, and I think that's the benefit of having like the aftercare audio too of like you have to clean up the mess that you make the whole time.
Mhm.
So if there is like if you make a mess like sexually, you have to really like I think take a bigger effort to clean that mess up emotionally, physically, whatever it might be. I would love to hear an audio where they like destroy a space and then the last like 2 or 3 minutes is the guy cleaning it up. I think that would be so funny. Of just like, all right, let me get the broom here. I've got to clean. Let me sweep this over. I mean, God, how did I break all this shit? This is such a mess. I have to go buy a new
It's
vase
so
from Home
expensive. Yeah.
Goods. I have to fucking go to Home Goods now this week. Damn it. Like, I would love that. That would kill me.
I love
I,
that
I
kind of
mean,
stuff. Yeah.
I do think there has to be there's to be a very clear, you can't use nuance because they can't see it. They just
Yeah.
can't. And they won't hear it
Yeah.
right. They just won't.
Yeah. And then nothing takes you out of an audio faster than when you don't know what's going on. Like
Oh
when you're in
yeah.
an audio and you're like, "Wait, am
Where's
I
the
on my
body
knees?"
part? Yeah,
Right.
am I
Exactly.
sucking his dick right now? Why would I be doing that?
Yeah.
We were
No,
just on
literally.
the other position. Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How did we get here?
100%.
We're
Yeah.
69ing right now? When did this start?
Hey, when did this happen? Are we on a bed? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. You like the choreography is really, really important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. The dance of it is so important. A couple other questions we had specifically for you. Um, let me expand this because I can't fucking read it. Hang on. Um, how do you get over the nerves and or doubts of putting a script out into the world publicly?
Mm. Um, oh, I hope that this person is still here. When you
I
say
hope so too.
nerves, are you talking about like putting it to a voice actor or like it's on Magic Wave, it's on Reddit, it's on Quinn?
Let me see
I'll
if I can
answer
find out
both
who
because I don't
asked.
actually know if you're here.
Oh,
Um,
it was Chaos.
oh, hi, Chaos. You well, I can answer both, but is there a particular one that you're talking about? Just give it a few seconds so that you can type. It's a good
Yeah.
time. Oh, both. Great. Okay.
We both go for
Um,
water, like right. Oh no,
I
fast
just
response.
need to
Fuck.
hydrate. Yeah. Yeah, you're supposed to type for longer, Chaos. Come on. No, I think okay, I'll start with the first one, which is putting it
Yeah.
to a voice actor. This one just sort of takes time and you sort of hone your like the templated email you send out. Like um I just like I got to a point where like okay, here's what I'll do. This is what I do when I send a script to someone. I send them the full script, which is not something everybody does. Some people are
Yeah.
afraid of their
Because you
audio,
want to
like their
control
scripts
it.
being
Yeah.
totally. And I understand it. I just choose to. This is the
I mean,
thing.
send it to
It's
people you
probably a risky
trust is
thing that I
maybe the
do.
first step, right?
Well, that's the thing, but you don't always know who you can trust, right? It's
Right.
like, and if
Right.
I'm trying to expand like the voice actors I'm working with, so
Right.
what I always put in there is I do an intro. I'm a spicy scriptwriter. Here's my handle on Instagram so that they can go check me out if they want to. Um, here's a list of people I've worked with. I'm now lucky enough that I can actually like link a playlist and say like here is here are the audios that I've written so that you can see the voice actors I've worked with and how many audios I have. So I established myself as a writer. Um, this is a script that I think would be great for your voice. It's about like a one sentence description of like it's an enemies to lovers story about two friends who used to be friends and hate each other now.
Yeah.
And then I will throw in a compliment. Like I think your voice would be great on it. Truly is like all I say. um, and then I'll include like a thing that's like, here's a script. I'm attaching the script. I understand that reading it does not obligate you to perform it. If you decide to move forward, here's my rate.
Yeah.
And I'll put that information in there. And then what I will also say is like, if I haven't heard from you by this date, I'm going to assume you're not moving forward with it.
Yeah.
That eliminates for me like the waiting around forever component.
Yeah. The guesswork's gone then.
Yeah, it like I'll usually give them 2 weeks to respond to me, and like at the 1 week mark, I'll send just a follow up being like, just a gentle bump. Hope you're doing well. Let me know by this date if you want to use the script. If
Yeah.
I never hear from them, then it means they don't want the script, and I put it in front of somebody else.
Yeah.
If they do, I'll respond. So that's kind of how I do the email thing. Repetition is part of it. Is like you just kind of get used to it at a certain point. But I still like with voice actors I've never interacted with before or never really worked with before. I might, if their DMs are open for business inquiries on Instagram, I might DM them first and just sort of say, "Hi, I'm Jeannie. I'm a spicy scriptwriter. I've worked with these actors. Um, was wondering if you're open to reading scripts right now. Because the thing is, I'm not in everyone's Patreon. I'm not in everyone's Discord.
Yeah.
I don't know when they're closing submissions. I don't know if they're totally close to submissions unless it's literally in their Instagram bio.
Yeah.
So I'll just sort of say like hey, like I just wanted to see if you might be interested. If you are, I'd love the opportunity to send you something to read. That I would say like 25% of the time I get a response back. So like it's not super high rate. So there's that. The other part is putting my stuff out in the world. I maybe I'm weird in this way. I just never got nervous about that.
I got the
I
feeling
was just
that was
like
gonna
so
be your
excited.
answer. I could feel that in my bones. I was like, she's gonna be like, I don't care. It's fine.
It's like, I mean, it's yeah. I wanted to do well. I want it to be received well. And I read every single comment on every audio that I've ever done.
Crazy. I wouldn't.
There's not that many. But like I don't know. It's kind of like I think the mentality I take is like there's something out there for everybody when it comes to erotica.
Yeah.
So
Every
this will
voice
find
matters.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like somebody will like this. And if they don't, that's kind of fine.
Yeah. I've heard audios that I don't know that have stuck with anybody else that have stuck with me.
Totally.
And I think that's valuable and matters and is fun. We got a couple of additional questions. One is, Reddit terrifies chaos is what she was saying, and that no idea how to vet anyone from there. In my experience, and I don't want to speak for Gene here, but I think if you want to throw something on Reddit, it's kind of just like, this is something I don't care about having a specific voice on. This is something I just want people to get a chance to do. And that's great for new creators too. A lot of people get on Reddit and they're like, I don't fucking know what to do. And if they find a good audio, it's great, right? Like, I did an audio from Michaela Laws the other day. I just happened to have some spare time. I was in my booth and I was like, fuck, I'll do this like weirdly super romantic thing that Michaela has. I like this. This is cool. My voice was trashed, so I sounded like shit. But I love.
Yeah, but that's kind of sexy. Like the vocal fry could be sexy.
Yeah, it was that kind, and it was also like it was called The Vow. It was like very lovey, and so I was like, I sounded very like torn up because my voice was such a mess. But yeah, I think if you're looking for specific people, it seems like this is the route you have to go, is like reaching out and saying like, hey, I would love to work with you. Here's my gut on this too, is that rates matter. I think if you just tell people, here it is for free, I think it devalues it, just like everything else in the world.
I agree.
Capitalism's a bitch. It sucks. I hate it, but people automatically assume that anything that's free is not valuable. And having rates matters.
I think it's interesting. Somebody, so Mermaid asked an interesting question about is Reddit the way to break into the scene? It could be. The thing is, everyone has a different journey.
Yeah.
right, if you want someone to get a sense of your writing style, Reddit actually might be a really great way to put something out there. And
A
Scriptbin
lot of people will see it that
here,
way.
yeah, a lot of people see it. You'll probably get multiple script fills.
Hmm.
And what the interesting thing about that is like you could hear two or three different voice actors doing the same script and be interested in the way that they like interpret things. Like even I did an audio with AJ and like um he interpreted my O very not the orgasm, like literally the word
Yeah,
O,
the word "oh,"
O-H.
yeah, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, like differently than the way I had meant for it to be. So, and that was
Yeah,
fascinating. Be like, oh, I did not write it that way, but he totally read it this other way.
yeah,
Um, so like you might find something interesting with Reddit in that way. I again, like for me, I broke into it. The timing just worked out for me. I don't even know that
yeah,
I didn't even mean to really do this.
yeah,
Um, so I think some people find their way in through Reddit. Some folks have found their way through like Undercover's audio.
yeah,
Some folks have built relationships with voice actors in the community and then tried to do like a private script fill um, for Reddit or Magic Wave, and then that starts to build a resume. It's honestly like you just have to keep putting things out there so that you can build a resume. And at a certain
yeah.
point, you can point towards a playlist and say, "Look at all these things I've written. All these voice actors who have done my stuff. You should work with me." And
Yeah,
that's kind of
it really is who you know more than it is like what you're
in every industry. Yeah.
really, because you could be the. I mean, you could be the best scriptwriter in the world, but if nobody knows who you are, it just doesn't matter. Which is an unfortunate reality. You can be a really good voice actor, like really, really talented, and doing stuff in the dredges of Reddit, the dredges of Reddit. I speak professionally for a living. It's fine. um and and no one would be able to know that you do that because it just kind of exists. And honestly, Mermaid, I think one of the, or Kiara, I don't know which one you prefer to be called, the I think one of the things that you can do too is like just start putting stuff in places and people will want to talk to you. That's kind of part of it, is put stuff on Reddit and people will want to ask you to fill it. If you put stuff on Magic Wave, Magic Wave has a, thank you, um, Magic Wave has a script writing section. You can do that and post audios for free, just like you can on Reddit, and people can fill them without getting paid or paying you. That is another thing they can do if you want to get experience. You will meet people. There are a lot of Discords that do this, that have like script writers and people who fill those audios and connect to each other and get to know each other. And a lot of it is just like what Gene said earlier. It's trust. Like it's all about trust.
Mm.
I need to know that like if somebody writes something for me, that they don't have ulterior motives, that they don't have like, if you know, that they're not going to try to, you know, take something that they gave me that I paid for exclusivity and then they go and they take it to somebody else to give to them. That's something that happens to voice actors sometimes. Your reputation and your ability to connect with people matters, and you don't have to be perfect, or we're all weird in this space, which is kind of great. So you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about being good at networking. It's kind of a non-concern.
Yeah. It's a, I mean, there's, listen, I mean, like it's scary to put yourself out there, especially in like a pretty intimate
Yeah.
setting,
Yeah. And there's so many
intimate content
hangups around
rather.
smut too. I mean, let's be honest. Like the idea of
Totally.
putting out like, for some people, even the idea of like fingering audio is like such a tough thing to
Mhm.
write and experience. Like I get it. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got you.
But I think like no, you're fine. I think that's a great addendum because I think like if there's a way that you can connect with like smaller voice because smaller voice actors are looking for script writers too.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I've seen when I see some of my friends get really disappointed
Mm-hmm.
or when they're like, "Oh, you're so much better than me," like I'm not better than you. I just like I'm not, like um but is this idea that like they try and go for these like really big names immediately and
Yeah.
um unfortunately, the people who are bigger, they have a they can afford to be more selective, discerning, whatever you wanna call it.
Yeah. Or
Um,
even predatory might be a word you could use too sometimes.
just some people can be. Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly, yeah. So it's like, it's the smaller creators need script writers too.
Yeah.
Um, and so, like and then that's the other thing, like, the payment thing is, like, you know, if you're uncomfortable I have a different payment structure for whoever I'm working with. I generally will charge like $20 for a Reddit script if it's a
Yeah.
private fill.
Yeah.
Um, because that way just it lends value to something. It's more of a symbolic gesture of like I am giving you a thing that's private that you now get to own and work with.
Yeah.
Um, or if I want people to just do it, I might put it on Scriptbin, and just
Hmm.
have whoever wants to do it. So it
And
sort
some
of
of the
depends on what your
studios
goal
will
might
pay you
be.
directly. Like,
Mhm.
if you work with professional voice actors at some of the different places that do this, I don't know if Vanilla Audio pays their script writers directly or not, but I
I
know they
don't
have some kind
know.
of a structure around that. So that's another place. But Magic Wave has a kind of structure around this. But I generally like getting to know people, posting stuff, I think is the best way to just kind of, give people the ability to trust you, know who you are, know that you're not someone who's going to try to hurt them or their career or whatever. A lot of it's just being
Mhm.
professional, to be honest, because some people get into the
Oh,
space and they just struggle with that.
yeah. Let
Say
me
it.
tell you, like the emails the emails that I send to the voice actors who say the filthiest things I've ever written in my entire life, I have
Right.
never written a more boring email. The email's so boring.
But that's
So,
the thing,
it's
right?
almost like you
We
have to,
need
yeah, you
normalcy.
have to
Yeah.
overcompensate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
We have
Yeah.
to be
It's a
professional. We
business
need it.
transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really needs to be treated that way too. Like there's a lot of, there's a lot of sexuality and a lot of people who are in this space are very charged sexually and all that kind of stuff. But there are lines, there are consent, there is respect, and all of that has to be managed and handled correctly. And a big part of that is like when you don't know somebody, you have to be so professional because otherwise,
Yeah.
a lot, I can't count them. I've gotten like 10 or 11 emails at this point from people coming into my thing, just like, oh my God, people would be creaming their jeans for this audio. And I'm like, I'm not, that's such a fucking wild thing to send me in an email that you don't know me. Like, I'm not trying to be weird about this, but what the fuck? Um, you
No,
can't say that. You can't say that in an
no, it's
email to
like
another human being you don't know.
genuinely think of it as like what would you send to somebody who you're selling your couch to? Like that is
Yeah.
literally the tone of the email it should be. Because the thing is, there's too many people who like too many people who are unfortunately trying to use script writing as a way to try and get close to a voice actor that they really
Yeah.
like.
And the
That
flip side
makes
of
that
that,
voice actor feel unsafe. Yeah,
yeah. And the flip side of that is there are a lot of
yeah,
VAs who are predatory and who will
totally.
who will fuck over scriptwriters
Yes,
or just in general are
100%.
just shitty people. Like you should be protecting yourself
Yeah,
just as much as you're protecting like respect them and protect yourself because if you seem to,
yes.
there are people who will leverage that and be shitty. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Like if they see that you admire them a lot or like,
mm-hmm.
um, I'm a really big fan or like there's an opportunity to exploit you, there are some shitty people who are gonna do that. Like they right? There's a whole list of people that we have to be aware of at times, right? There's a
People
VA
have
that
whole
like
ass
I
lists.
blocked preemptively. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a whole
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah, like lists exist. Yeah.
There are these guys who just keep making accounts over and over again, and I keep having to block them. I'm like, please stop following me. We all know what you did. Please.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I know who you are. Oh, Kira has a
you're
really good
using the
question
same
here.
name. I know who you are. Stop it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, I see this interesting question from Kiara.
please.
Do you sell the scripts to the VA or do you pay them to do it? No, no.
Please don't pay
Um,
them.
no, don't pay them to do it.
No,
You sell the script. They pay you. They
they
pay
pay
you.
you.
Your script is a product.
You
Yeah,
were doing the
your script
service.
is a product,
Yeah.
and they are buying that product.
It could even be, you could, even if it is the most, this is the thing that happens too sometimes is people want the biggest name to do their audio and they will pay the VA to do it sometimes. And this happens in audiobooks and other stuff too, where it's predatory and used as a like,
Yeah,
well,
gross.
if you want your stuff to get out there, then you use this really, do not pay anyone for you to give them a script. Don't pay them anything for it. If you are giving them something that you did, you should get paid. Even if it's the smallest amount of money you feel reasonable in taking, get paid for it.
Yes.
Please.
Nods vigorously.
you are
Nods vigorously. It's your
you are
product.
creating a
It's your
product. And anything less than
yeah.
that will
It's
become the expectation. Like keep that in mind.
yeah.
Anything less than the payment for the product you produced will become an expectation of this person makes audios for or makes scripts for me for free.
Yeah. And it's hard to break out of that expectation. Like, it's hard to it's much harder to say, "Okay, I know I gave you this first one for free. The second one I want $50 for."
Yeah.
Like,
Don't do
it's
that.
harder to do that versus saying, like,
Yeah.
"I wanna start at 50."
It's
Yeah.
not drugs. Like, they're not going to get hooked on your scripts. Don't play that game. It's not it's not going to work. The first taste being free ain't going to do
First
shit.
one
It's
free,
not going to
yeah.
help them. No, don't do it. Charge something for all the audios you do. And again, like, this is another thing that happens too, is there's this, like, Dex and I talked about this, like, barter system that starts among people who, which in a way is often, like, well-meaning, but if you are new to this and you're not careful, there are people who will exploit your labor, and they will think that them talking to you is payment enough. The fact that they are
Mhm.
they will flirt with you or talk to you, and they will think that their presence is payment for your product, and it is not, ever. Charge people for what you're doing. I know
Yeah.
it's not always a lot of money, but you deserve to get paid, and you can then put that on resumes and stuff too. Do not trade. Do not trade. Take money, please.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like, you just don't know who's trustworthy. That's the thing that's
Yeah.
tough, is, like,
When you first start off, you
after a
definitely don't.
while, yeah, when you're newer to it, you just are not sure who's gonna show up and, like, with integrity, and people who are going to insist on paying you for things, like, even if you do try to, like, lowball yourself, which, like, let me be clear, I did that to myself when I first started,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I have the same thing, it's like, I feel bad having someone pay me for a thing that, like, I'm new at.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is, even my dumbest, not great scripts took me 4 hours to write, so,
Yeah.
like, I should probably get something for that.
Right. And
If
if you don't want to
especially
get
if
paid,
he's gonna make money off of it.
right. And if you don't want to get paid, throw it somewhere where you can put it out there and say, like, this is an unpaid script. Don't put it
Yeah,
on a paid service. Like, fine. That's okay.
yeah,
You can put it on Reddit, you can put it on Magic Wave, you can put it other places where you won't earn income, and that's fine. But if they're gonna make money, you should make something. It's one of the reasons I actually haven't
I agree.
used script writers for the most part, is because I believe very strongly in paying people, and it's not, most of us also don't make a bunch of money.
Right. No,
So
exactly. Yep, exactly.
it is one of those things. We've got a couple of additional questions from people that I want to make sure we answer.
Yeah, totally.
One is, are there any specific themes that you find easier to write? I think we've kind of covered this, but I wanted to give you a chance to, like,
Mm,
if you want to dial in on that.
easier to write.
Or the ones that
Things
flow
that
out
are
of you.
root yeah, well, it's funny, like, the ones that flow out of me are the ones I'm excited about. Like, an
Yeah.
idea hit like, listen, I can walk through the world and I'll come up with 10 different script audios ideas. One of them might be actually interesting. Again, that feeling of, like, if I'm not excited about it, usually means the audio is, like, not great. And it's not their fault, it's like my script was, like, meh. Um, there's plenty of meh scripts that I put out there.
Look, we've all
Um,
done not our best before. It's fine.
I'm not shaming myself for it, I'm just saying, like, they're out there, they're not great. I think the ones that are the most like a gentle dom, I can do quite well.
Yeah.
And I can also write casual quite well. Um, and things that might feel a little bit, like, rooted in more reality. I think the opposite question, or, like, the other side of this question is, like, what do I struggle to write? I
Yeah, what's
I
hard?
really struggle with, like, fantasy.
Yeah.
So, like, the idea of, like, a
Like
dragon
high
audio
fantasy
blows my
or
mind.
okay.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, high fantasy for sure, but even, like, I just wrote a script, I won't say with who, um, where it was, like, the person wanted to be an alien,
hmm
and I was like, "I will try."
Look, sci-fi is a whole other, the people who write sci-fi and object and monster tend to only write that for a reason, because it is so
Totally.
unique.
I'm really curious as to how it will be received because I'm proud of it. Like, it took
Yeah.
several drafts. It took me 3 times as long to write this one than, like, a typical script,
Yeah.
because it's just so not my norm. I'm curious about how it's gonna be received because there's a part of me that's like, I don't know if this person's typical audience is gonna be into this,
Yeah.
and 2, like, was it good?
And I mean, monster fuckers are such a specific, like, the anatomy matters, the like
Yeah,
it being
you
so
have to
unique
explain
and
it.
different. You have to explain it. What does it look like? Why is this kinky? What do they have that is, abnormal from humanity? It's such a, it's such a fun thing I love it. I think it's so cool and interesting, but it's also fucking buck wild. And I love that
Yeah,
about it.
I'm proud of myself for doing it, but it was very hard. So, like, yeah, I
Yeah.
think, like, things that are, like, kind of realistic-ish casual stuff, and then,
Yeah.
like, MDOM stuff I could do.
I love that. Okay. I got a question about, is it awkward to record at all? I think at one time it might have been for me to to record. I mean, I'm in a closet that's like lined in like 2-inch foam plus a bunch of acoustic things, and I'm just like moaning into it a lot of the time. But I've done enough like loud different types of audio work in the past that just becoming a character and just doing what I think that character would do feels fine for me, to where I don't ever really feel too weird about it. You have to kind of embrace the cringe. That's the thing about audio. In this, it's so wild westy, and you can get away with so much. And I think you have to, otherwise it gets pretty boring. That I think that's kind of where the like you have to set aside the cringe, right? Like I'm about to be
Yeah.
an alien fucking this person. I have to set this aside. I'm about to be a monster doing like a whatever kind of voice. I'm about to wear a mask for the next 40 minutes and do like a scream voice, and I have to do this kind of thing. Like I have to like just be cool with that being me for a little bit. Like I get it's weird and awkward and cringy, but we just have to push through and be like, somebody's going to masturbate to this, so whatever. Or somebody's going to do
Yeah,
dishes to
and
it. Who
that's
knows? Like, I
which
don't know.
you know what? Whatever the floats their boat.
More power to
And
you,
that's
whatever
actually
you're
the
doing.
same that's the same thing I would say with writing too. You have to let go of the cringe. You have to, like, lean into the cringe because it's like,
Yeah.
if you get into that place where you're like, "Is that too much?" Or it's like, "Oh, that's kinda, like, gross," you're not gonna get through that scene.
No, you gotta embrace and I think you can always pull back, right? Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's easier to edit down than it is to edit up, and it's easier to voice act down than it is to voice act up, because somebody who is not, this is what gets me to, this is the thing that I don't like about audio erotica, is when a lot of people just like, it is so flat tonally and boring. If I start listening to somebody who's made an audio and they're just like, hey darling, it's time for you to bend over and take, and it's just that the whole time, I could
Mm.
not give less of a fuck about that. Have diversity, emotion in your voice. Like I want to hear you begging, pleading, fucking, getting angry. Like I want to hear that in it, right? I want you to act. Like I want it to be acting. um
Yeah, that's there's a couple voice actors that, like, I can tell they're new. So the
yeah,
part of it is,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
the newness to the field, but it's also, like, you're just reading. You just have, like, a
You're just
nice deep
reading,
voice
you
and
have a
you're
good voice,
reading.
which is, I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to do like nonfiction narration or whatever,
Yeah, sure, dude.
go get it. I mean, that's great. The War
Yeah,
of
tell me about
1812 is
inequality.
whatever. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Please don't do that in my ear. I once fucked a girl so good and deep. Like please, I don't
No.
care. Don't do that to me. That
Yeah,
sucks.
exactly.
Never
Yeah.
do that to me again. But there's something we talked about earlier too, is the fuck, I think I just lost it in my brain. Hang on. It's in there.
Alright.
Oh, I think you mentioned getting outside gives you all these ideas for erotica. This is something that I think people fuck up with too, is that so many people who like write in this space, who voice act in this space, have no experiences. And I'm not saying just sexually. Like there's the whole like, there are people
Mm.
who are virgins who write kink and they perform kink, whatever. That's fine. There, AO3 is full of virgins. We don't need to judge. It can be the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. It's fine. But at the same time, I do think getting out of your house, getting off the internet, or even just like exploring media you don't normally explore, and hearing stories you don't normally hear. One of the things that I really like to do is go and read books I haven't ever thought about reading before. I just picked up a story. I went to the library today, literally, and picked up a story about a knight.
Library.
And I picked up a
Sorry.
story that's a a binary gendered, what was the word I'm thinking of? Agendered person who is a knight, and they're having like a difficult time in like this relationship with this other person. It's partially graphic novel and it's partially horror, but it's really focused around this person's non-binary is the word I was thinking of. Jesus Christ. Who's trying to have this, my brain is so fucked. Trying to have this relationship with this female, like this other female knight, this person who is more femme and this person's not. And it's really fascinating. Like I've read about half of it so far. And that's the kind of stuff that I think people just need to get the fuck out of their own. Like you have to get away from the same shit you're always around and watching the same things. If a dude has done nothing but but watch football for the last 6 weeks and hang out with his bros, I can tell in his audio. It's going to suck.
Yeah.
And if a scriptwriter has done nothing but be, just reading the same shit over and over again and hanging out with the same people and like listening to the same audios over and over again, you can hear that in the way that they write. And I think getting out and experiencing the world is something that I would say like I think that's one of the reasons it's less awkward for me too. It's like I don't feel as awkward about it because I'm trying to embody something that I think people want to exist in the world or that may exist in the world. And sometimes it's just relationships I've had that I'm just tapping into to say like, I've definitely fucked like this before. If it's not like, if it's the back of a car, sure. If it's at a game, sure. Like there's a lot of stuff that I've personally experienced that I know that how that feels and what it's like to have that kind of experience. Yeah. And I think people got to get out and maybe I shouldn't say get out and fuck more, but like get out and experience more. Maybe get out and fuck more. I don't know. Everyone go have more coupling of convenience.
Listen, I am here for this. You know that this is my thing.
I got on a soapbox, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I know, no, I agree with you. I fully agree with you. I think, like, I mean, I had an audio. I'm not going to write it because I'm not excited about it. But, like, so if somebody else wants to write it, you're welcome to this idea. I, like, I went to a bar with a friend. I left my sunglasses at the bar.
Yeah.
And when I got home, I was like, shit, I left my sunglasses at the bar.
Yeah.
So I called the bar and I was like, hello, is there a pair of cat eye tortoise shell sunglasses at the bar? And they were like, yes, we have it. And I was like, cool. When do you guys open tomorrow? Can I come by tomorrow? They're like, yeah, we open at 2. Just come by anytime. I was like, great. So the next day I went back and it went right at 2 because I didn't want to I wasn't going to get a drink. I was going to pick up my sunglasses. So I went and I grabbed my sunglasses and the guy at the bar was totally empty. Guy at the bar was super hot. And I was like, that's an audio.
Yeah, 100%.
And then walked out. Real life me picked up my sunglasses and left. Audio me might have done something a little spicier. I'm not going to write it because I'm sort of bored by it. But it's like being open to the idea of a story. Also, I will say too, for anyone who is interested in writing or has started writing, I totally support the end goal being getting your scripts produced.
Yeah.
But there really is a value to just writing for the sake of writing.
Just make art.
Of maybe it's just not something that, maybe it's not something that you put out on Reddit. Maybe it's not something you put in front of a voice actor. Maybe nobody ever sees it. Please write it. Here, you can have that story. But the repetition of writing, you get better. The more, right? It's every skill you ever try and build. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get. Yeah. Just start writing, and as you feel more bold and more confident, you can start asking beta readers to give you feedback. You can ask people to take a look and give you pointers on character development or story. Where does it feel awkward? Does the choreography make sense? Is the spicy stuff spicy enough? Things like that. Just write. And it doesn't have to be public. Obviously, it's great if it does, but writing for the sake of writing is really fun. And it opens up your brain to scenarios that you might see in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Creation for the sake of creation, I think, is so important, so valuable to say, I'm going to make something because I want to. And I think there are so many places you can put it if you just want it to disappear. Put it on AO3, put it on Wattpad. One of the voice actors that I'm friends with, the way they started voice acting, and now they're a professional audiobook narrator with a bunch of big studios. She started off just, you can audio AO3 audio stories if they're open to it, if they allow you to. And that's what she did. Mm-hmm. She just went through and started reading them, and people liked them so much that she started doing, published books and eventually with studios. And that is, You never know what the art that you create in the world is going to create in other people. You never
Yeah.
know what you put out might do for others. And it may never be what you expect it to be. It may be something more or less than you expect it to be. It may be nothing at all. But it could inspire. I don't think any of those people know who she is because she was using a different name. And so they probably have no idea that they helped launch a voice actor's career into this
Yeah.
field, like later in her life, deciding to do this. And now she's a professional voice actor with studios and everything else because she started doing this. And I don't think any of them would have realized, one, I don't think any of them know who she is or that she did it. And two, I don't think any of them would have thought that would happen, you know? But that's what art does.
Yeah.
Art creates other art, and that's kind of part of the world. It's part of what makes it so
Yeah,
cool.
and you could be part of someone's story, right? Is like,
Yeah.
even if only one person ever fills a script, like maybe that changes that person's life. And that could change yours too, to know that somebody wanted to do your script, right? So I think it's like volume isn't the goal. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just getting someone to see the art. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's transformative for, I think, us too, right? Like every time I make something, I feel different than I did before. Like the thing you just mentioned about the bar reminded me that about a time that I wanted to make an audio. I was at a bar a few weeks ago, and I realized after I left that the trans mask person behind the bar was flirting with me. And I was like, oh, I could 100% make that an audio for sure. Like cute 5'3" boy trans mask, like flipping old fashions behind the bar, you know, 6 foot whatever dude. Like people that will play for sure.
Come on, somebody wants that.
I can play that. You just reminded me of the fact of that. But that's like, you know, the way that you can think about the world is like people want to hear stories. It's less about the erotica is a piece of it, right? But it is storytelling and it's creation. And like people want that. People want art in the world, and it really is self-generative.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
I don't think I have many other questions for you. We're kind of like close to time too. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or are there any other like last minute questions people want to ask?
I see one from Chaos in the chat about anything that I wouldn't write, and I think it's wouldn't write and wouldn't perform for you.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
Things I wouldn't write. I mean, all the stuff I hate, like billionaire audios. um,
I've done those. I'll do those. You
I
can pay me
will.
to do them. I'll do them.
I will write a romance. I know I'm not a romantic person, but I will write a romance audio.
Yeah.
I could write romance, but it's
I mean,
ironic,
good
but,
romance writers are not always the most romantic people.
right. Yeah. I think things I wouldn't write. I don't really like. Oh, you know what? Things I won't write. Um, I'm never gonna write an audio with a cop.
Yeah.
Uh,
Fuck yes. Hell yeah.
Never gonna do that.
I knew I liked you. Propaganda can fuck off. Everyone should know that.
Yeah, it's absolutely it'll never happen. I will never listen to one of those, and I will never write one of
I
those.
swear to
Yeah.
God, if anybody throws an ice audio at me ever, I will fucking ban them on
Oh
everything.
my god.
It'll be gone
I
so
would.
fast.
It
They
would,
better
you
not
know
even
what?
be
It
a
would be an
cop
immediate.
dog in this fucking thing. I'm not doing it. We could be trying to foster a dog that used to be a cop. That fucking thing doesn't get to be there anymore. He's coming out.
Nope.
Don't
Yep.
care.
Not in
It's
the
gone.
audio. I have an issue with this particular thing in this audio. Yeah, I
Mhm.
will never do that. And I will never really do. Generally, I tend to write for women.
Yeah,
So, and by that I mean I've only ever written for women.
sure.
So I will probably never do an audio that is the man has so much more power over the woman. Like I'm
Yeah.
probably never gonna write that audio. I'm probably never gonna write um like an audio where the woman is the sub and then M is. I mean, I don't mind M dom, but like
You want it
God,
soft.
what is the I'm not even that. I'm happy to write hard M dom, but it's gotta it can't be it can't be humiliating. I will never write an audio that's
Mm.
humiliating to the woman unless she has and it's like outlined at the very
That
top.
is the
Like this
kink,
is the
right?
thing I'm asking you to.
She's
Yeah,
very into it.
exactly.
Yeah. So I feel that. I think there is a really big benefit in identifying who your audience is within the audio that you're doing, of saying like
And
very
early.
clearly, this person wants to be oh, you've been begging to be humiliated, you little slut. I can't
Correct.
wait to like that has to be said at the beginning so people can be like, oh, well, fuck, no, I don't want that. I don't want to be that. I don't want
Exactly.
to
Yep.
I don't want to be that. I think that matters so much. Of like, you're basically getting the audience to say like consent to what's about to happen, but it also like is in a way like that. It's very obvious about the consent of the character that is being portrayed, that is listening to. And in a way that takes away some of that kind of authoritarian like power. The person is not doing something
Yeah,
without consent.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love CNC. I will do CNC. It's very, for what it's worth, hard to do now because all the payment processors have said no to that. But
Mhm.
I only do it when consent is established within the audio, that it is very clear, like, this person wants this. We are identifying this person wants this. That is the first that is the first C in CNC, is that we are all
Yeah.
saying very loudly, like, this is craved, wanted, desired, and now we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think outside of that, I as far as performing stuff, authoritarian type stuff, I'm not as excited about doing. My butter and bread, whatever the fuck the term is, my bread and butter. There it is. I got it.
Your
Got it in
butter.
3. My butter. My dirty butter. My sorry. My bread and butter is like, I love the like pleasure dom stories. I want to
Yeah,
overstimulate. I want to center the listener's pleasure. That is always
that's
my
me too.
goal. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I do not give a fuck about, you know, if the degradation aspect is the intent of the listener's pleasure. That's my goal.
Absolutely.
My goal is always the listener's pleasure 100% of the time first. That is what matters to me most. Everything after
Yeah.
that is kind of a whatever. If we're targeting a specific audience, we're targeting I saw exotic butters and threw my brain off. If we're targeting, a specific type of kink, I'm down, but in general, it is consent and pleasure for the listener. Even if that pleasure is just like, this sounds hot while I'm doing dishes, great.
And like, listen, it makes sex is so dangerous for women. like, sex with men,
Yeah,
romance with men is so dangerous. And so, like, to be able to establish safety right up front, consent right up front
yeah.
with all parties involved
In a
is
world that
it's
doesn't
one of the
give you
reasons why
that.
audio erotica works. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I can listen to a degradation. There's shit that works in audios that I would never do in real life. Because in real life, I would be like, "The fuck you are," but in
Did you just call me a
audios,
bitch?
exactly, right? Like, but in audios, it's fine because it's like,
Yeah,
1, I'm consenting into it. 2, it's not a real person. Like, it's a
yeah,
voice actor, like, it's a character.
yeah,
And 3, I'm still safe, right?
yeah.
Like, that
You
person
have
isn't going to
control.
suddenly become really violent. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, the control piece.
And this is the thing that I think is something that hangs up for me on the Quinn model, in that like focusing around the VAs instead of the acting and the experience and all of that other stuff, is when you center real people, you run a really big risk of those real people fucking up and being weird. This is why I like Dipsy's model. Dipsy, they don't talk about their VAs.
Mm,
Their VAs are unnamed. It is about the characters that then lead to the stories that they create. They have like series with the characters that are played by the same voice actor over and over again, but you don't know their names.
mhm.
Um, and at Magic Wave, like, my name is out there, but I also like, I am always playing a character. It is never just about me doing stuff. And that is, I think, the thing that is the I think that's the most important part of this field that people get wrong, is that they want to focus in on the person who's creating it, and it's not about that. It's about you, and it should be about you and about you feeling safe and comfortable. And if you can't feel safe and comfortable with that person, and that person is centered, then we have a disconnect, and it's going to create all kinds of problems.
Yeah, I fully agree with, and it goes the other way too, right? It doesn't help
Yeah.
with parasocial relationships and
Oh yeah,
people who,
fucks up
like,
people's brain.
genuinely start having, yeah, like, people start having, like, real emotional attachments to voice actors, and to a certain point, that's understandable. But some folks, they have a hard time differentiating the fantasy
Yeah.
from the person.
Well, I mean,
And
because
that's
it's
when you can
not
get into some, like,
differentiated, right? The person is being
right.
treated as the fantasy, which again can work, can be fine, but it is literally inviting the most opportunity for fucking this up
Yeah,
as possible.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, I love that. I love. I think that's a great spot for us to kind of wrap to say, centering pleasure, centering consent, centering safety, understanding that the best thing about erotica is that at any point, when you're watching, consuming, reading, looking at a drawing, you can just turn it off, and that
Yeah.
is such a wonderful thing to be able to be. And that's why trigger warnings are, so important too, and having tags is so important to be like, I'm not gonna like this because this very clearly is labeled for something, not for me. Um,
Mhm.
and I love that we, I think people who are good at this do that. And also, please stop making propaganda. Fucking please. please please stop wanting to get put in handcuffs by police officers in audios.
Oh God, I don't know. It's just such a hard no. Ugh.
Thank you so much, Gene,
Listen,
for
if it's
being
your
here.
thing, it's your thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you like cops, I guess you like shitty people, whatever, it's fine. If you like having a statistically higher chance of being abused, sure, go ahead, that's fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I'm not gonna write it, but yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm the fucking worst. Thank you so much for being here today,
okay.
Gene. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate. One thing I wanted to give you a chance to shout out is there any projects you're working on that you want to talk about, and are there any creators you want to highlight, kind of at the end here, to say like, go listen to these people, go read these people, go check out this thing I made. Anything you want to kind of pitch at the end of saying like, you should go hear this or do this. I'm
Oh
putting
my
you on the
gosh,
spot.
I
I did
don't
send you
know.
that question ahead of time, but I also
You
know I'm
did.
putting you on the
You
spot.
did. I will say, look, look, murder audios, audios.
I know it's such a good comment.
um,
I read it too.
it's a really good audio.
Damn, get him. Oh
Um,
shit.
I Well, so you can find me on Instagram and on TikTok under JeenBean21, and you can interact with my content there. I have audios on Magic Wave, Reddit, and Quinn. So if you're interested, those are all linked in my link tree.
Yep, which should still be
And
pinned.
then as far as people that I think you should be like SmutCap, if you don't follow them, they're
Yeah.
amazing. They're
Undercover
a small
audio you
company that I
mentioned.
partner with. They're really amazing. Nevermore, Boons, Mave are great Reddit audio VAs.
Mm,
Um,
I love
people
Boons.
who are,
I don't know
I read
Nevermore, but I know
depressing shit. Nevermore's amazing. Oh my god, I love Nevermore. Um,
I'll have to listen to his
yeah,
stuff. I haven't
I'll
heard
just do that because otherwise I'll just start naming all the people that I love, and that's gonna take another hour. So.
it. Well, go follow Jean so you can hear her rep all the people that she loves, and you can hear all the stories that she talks about. JeenTalk is where she kind of explores this topic in depth on different specific topics in a short form audio visual way of like talking about this. And I really enjoyed your perspective. It has been so wonderful getting to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you have a
Thank you
great
for
day.
having me.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was
you
so fun.
too, and have a good night. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me. I'm super flattered.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.